Yo. Hey, man, we here on the Brother Garfield podcast, man. All praise to the Most High. We apologize about the delay. That was more so on my part than anybody's part. Everybody was here. We got Priest Hakah Genesis here. We got Gdal in the building. This was one of those formal debates that we were all waiting for. If you are inside of the chat, you see us live, hit the chat if we sound good. We're going to test everybody's mics to make sure we good. I was having a little issue, so y'all have to work with me. Brother Garfield here is to bag me up. He may not be the best moderator, but that is why he is coming off the bench. All right, hit the chat, and let us know if y'all can hear me. Do we sound good? Both of these brothers got some professional mics set up, so they should sound pretty good. If we can get a mic check for Priest Hakah right quick.
Big G's, not the little ones. You know what's going on. All praise to the Most High.
All right, and I would assume the little G's is Gdal, but we're going to see when he speaks. Gdal, if we can get a mic check right quick. Gdal.
That's your boy Gdal, the biggest G. Gdal in the building, man. All praise to the Most High.
Chat it. If y'all can hear Priest Hakah and Gdal, put ones in the chat. Ones in the chat. And before we start the debate, put who you got winning in the chat. We need winners. Put who you got winning in the chat. All right. You know, hit the chat, man. Shout out to the Brother Garfield podcast. We want to do a little promotion. Shout out to the Brother Gdal. He's been debating on a versus platform for a while. So shout out to that brother. He has a prolific wellness touch that is available for anybody who may have pain management issues or neuromuscular therapy is what he specializes in. So you could just put in prolific wellness touch in Google, and I'll be able to look into that and send it to your loved ones and friends who may need it. We definitely need that support in the community. We also got Priest Hakah. Please support his businesses. He has Genesis144.com right now with the children's Bibles. Make sure you guys support the platform as well. The children's Bibles are dope. That's Genesis144.com. Also, he has a new business that he wanted to promote as well. That is GenesisCaskets.com. What is that about, Priest Hakah? Genesis Caskets.
GenesisCaskets.com. I had to start a casket business because I've been killing Old Testament onlys. I might as well profit off the funerals too. So GenesisCaskets.com. Check us out. You know, all praise to the Most High by Shem Yahushai.
See that? Shout out to Brother Garfield podcast, man, for allowing us to do the verses on his platform. If y'all can take this opportunity to share it to as many people's phones, Facebook, Instagram, Clubhouse, as much as you can to try to get this going and jumping. But we're finna get this thing started, man. It's an 88-minute debate. I'm Christian Corey. I'll be moderating a debate between Priest Hakah and the Brother Gdal. Brother Gdal has elected to go first, being the challenger who issued the challenge to Priest Hakah. 88-minute debate, 44 minutes on both sides. Today's topic is Daniel 7, right? Or Daniel 9, right? Daniel 9, which is a very top level debated chapter that we have in our community that we definitely would like to see who actually comes out on top of this one. This is Daniel 9, the 70-week prophecy. Happened during the times of the Romans or the Greek time period. Now, I want to let who is on the Roman side or who is on the Greek side, that will be on the brothers to communicate. Am I still sounding good? Sometimes the screen is going up. If not, I'm going to keep. All right, good deal. Appreciate it. I'm going to go through the rules. Give me about 5 minutes, guys, to go through the rules. And then we're going to bounce it over to the brothers to be able to introduce themselves. So the rules for the debate is extremely simple. People may be very familiar with the Versus platform. I'll be moderating all the spaces, the timekeeping, everything. I'll be doing it from my end. Firstly, we start off with the introduction. That is 2 minutes on each side. It starts with Gdal, given 2 minutes. The rules for the introduction is that you cannot use Bible verses or any type of historical citations. Your job is to introduce yourself, your school of thought, and what you'll be teaching today, and what your opponent will not. After your 2 minutes, then Priest Hakah, aka Deacon, will go for 2 minutes, and then he would demonstrate the same thing. No Bible verses, no sources, no PowerPoints, just his own common words and wisdom to communicate what he'll be teaching today and what his opponent will not, himself as well as his school of thought. Do both brothers understand the introduction?
I understand.
Salakia, yes, sir.
All right, let's move over to round one. In round one, Gdal will still be going first. For 10 minutes, his job is to communicate his premise on the topic of Daniel 9, the 70-week prophecy. And then right after that, Priest Hakah will be going for his premise for 10 minutes for round one. This is uninterrupted. Neither one of you guys can interrupt each other at any time. If there's any type of technical issues, that is the only time we're going to try to stop you guys. Other than that, you're free to go for your 10 minutes. I'll be timekeeping on this end. I advise you guys to timekeep. That way you guys can keep up with generally where the time is at. But I have the master clock over here, so I will not be arguing with either one of you guys on seconds. We're not going to do that. I have the master clock and I'm running it, but you'll have a general time if you keep your own time. I'll unmute to say 5 minutes left. I'll also unmute to say 1 minute left, but I won't repeat myself. So I'll just say it one time and get out of y'all way. If I don't unmute again, then you know what I said. Just keep going. Other than that, in terms of the time frame, we'll roll over to Priest Hakah on his 10 minutes of his premise as well. Then we'll close out round one. Any questions or issues with round one? If not, we're going to move to round two. Good. You can put a thumbs up. You can put a thumbs up if we're good. All right, good deal. Moving over to round two. Round two is the same as round one with an added element. In round two, you add the rebuttal possibility. You can add rebuttals in round two. Your whole 10-minute round can be a rebuttal to the other person's teachings, or it can just simply be continued premise. Just for clarity, ad homs is allowed. Of course, they may be looked down upon by the audience. This is not like a formal judge type of space. They may be looked down upon, but they are allowed. This is the Versus. This is, big boy platform and urban as well. So ad homs is allowed. Just watch it because, we got people watching and they can say you lost due to it. Other than that, round two is very much so like round one. It's just the added element of rebuttals. Any questions on round two? All right, good deal. So we'll move to round three. Round three is a little different. It is the questionnaire round where both opponents will be on the hot seat one by one. Gdal, you will be asking questions first and asking questions to Priest Hakah. Priest Hakah, you will be on the hot seat first for 20 minutes. Now, this section has a little bit more element to it in terms of rules. Now, there's a structure called the yes or no question structure, meaning if you are asked a yes or no question with the term yes or no in it, that must be in it, then and only then you must say yes or no first. That must be the first word that come out your mouth. If not, it's going to be a little discrepancy. We're going to stop the time and then we're going to reset and tell the person to ask the question again. It's pretty much a foul on the play. So you must say yes or no first and then advance into your answer. Once you advance into your answer, though the brothers argued over the time limit, you have a 2-minute limit to answer the question. You have a 2-minute limit to answer the question, a 2-minute maximum. You don't have to use the whole time. You can just be getting to it. But you do have a 2-minute maximum to answer the question. And then it will bounce back over to the person who's asking the question. Now, times can be, emotions could go up a little bit. So sometimes people can cut each other off in the middle of an answer. We won't allow that. They have a certain time frame to be able to answer it. So I'm gonna stop you. Even if the person isn't answering the way you want them to answer, they have that time frame to answer it. It's based on the audience to say the person dodged the question. It's not based on you to cut them off. So I just wanted to say that the person is not forced to ask questions. So if you kind of teach on something that somebody said for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, destroying their answer, you can, and then you can come back to a question. That's also allowed. You're not forced to just ask questions. I want to make sure that that is crystal clear. Any questions so far? Then I'll get into the last part of the rules, and then we'll close it out.
So 2, 10, 20?
Yeah, 2, 10, 10, 20.
Right. 2, 10, 10, 20.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And then the other rule is you cannot send a rhetorical question back to your opponent when they ask you a question. You can't send a rhetorical question back. That's usually done. We're a little lenient with it, but we usually jump in and say, hey, no rhetorical questions. So if Gdal asks, hey, when, what was it? Was it the Roman period? You can't say, duh, isn't that what you teach? You can't say that. No rhetorical like questions and answers. They must be answers. That's just for clarity's sake. Other than that, you're gonna, after the round 3, of course, it bounces over to priest Hakah to put Gdal on the hot seat. And it is the same rule structure. Then when we actually do the time frames, this is going to be interesting. I like this debate already. When we actually do the time frames or the clocks for that for the 20-minute questionnaire, I'm going to call it at 10 minutes left. When you're down to 10 minutes, I'm going to call it at 2 minutes left. And then we're going to close it out. I'm going to say time. And then you must cease. After the formal debate, then we'll go into a 2-minute conclusion. In the 2-minute conclusion, it's the same rules as the introduction, but you are allowed to add Bible verses and sources in the 2-minute conclusion. That's when you can say, I touched on Daniel 9, verse 1. He didn't say nothing. You can start adding verses to it and also teach what you taught and what your opponents did not. Make sure you get the children's Bibles, Genesis144.com. And then we move over to, after that, after the formal debate, if you guys feel like y'all still got a little animosity, educational animosity on your chest, then we can actually just go to a brawl area that is just no holds barred, no rules. You can talk over each other. You can, you're fighting for space in the paint. That's usually what we do. We allow space for that as long as y'all select a time. So both of y'all can say, hey, I got 10 more minutes and 2 more questions. I got this. There's no rules. We're not going to allow you can't reach out to the moderator and think I'm going to get in there. I ain't getting in there. It's just a straight out fight and we send back. So whoever's asking the questions, if one person asks all the questions, so be it. We don't care. It's a straight brawl. You can elect to that. Other than that, some people would actually elect to people in the audience to come up and raise their hand and, get in a queue and ask a question. You don't have to debate them. We instantly drop them down, but we can elect that section as well. Any questions?
I'm a veteran here, so I don't have any questions.
All right, good deal. So here we go, man. This is gonna be one of the ones right here. And then we're going to bounce it over to, most likely God First Gang on the clubhouse to see what's going on, argue and fight a little bit more and see who actually won, let other people put each other in the headlock. So with that being said, man, if you brothers ain't got anything right now, any last words? Because I feel like somebody is not going to live after this. So any last words?
He's dead. He's dead. He's already dead. He's dead. I gotta kill him again. He's like Lazarus. I gotta kill him twice.
Hey, I don't got no words. We're gonna let this information talk, and we're gonna see who's embarrassed at the end of this night.
Yeah, see that? All right. So before we go into the debate, we're finna go into it right now. Put in the chat. I know we got some extra people that just came in. Put in the chat who y'all got, man. Who y'all repping, who y'all representing. Ain't no down the middle. Take a side. Y'all, I'm the only person that's down the middle. I can't say who won or lost. That's the versus rules when it comes to a moderator. They can't say who won or lost. Other than that, Prolific Wellness Touch. Make sure y'all Google that. The brother is doing excellent things. The brother Gdal, Hakah, specializing in pain management and neuromuscular therapy. So make sure y'all hit up Prolific Wellness Touch. Just a simple Google. Everything will pop up. Support the brother in his respective cities. We also got Genesis144.com coming from Priest Hakah with the children's Bibles. Excellent books, excellent Bibles. We all got families, and we all are into the text, regardless of your faith. You should definitely support this book. So Genesis144.com and also GenesisCaskets.com. And that website is pending on this debate right here, the results of this debate. So I just want to say shout out to Priest Hakah, shout out to Gdal, shout out to Brother Garfield Podcast and the people in the audience. Let's get this started, man. We're going to set this time. We ain't going to play no games. All right, we're going straight to it. Hold on 1 second. All right, Gdal, just test your mic right quick. Brother Garfield, you're going to have to share. Yep, you sound good. Brother Garfield, you're going to have to share a screen if you need to share. Do you need your screen share for this particular round, Gdal?
No, I don't.
All right, so he's good to go. I mean, we're going in introduction. Salaki, I apologize. So I'm gonna put 2 minutes on the clock. 1 second. All right, so of course you introduce yourself, introduce your school of thought. No Bible verses, no sources. The time starts when you start.
Hey, it's Gdal Hakah, Mr. Versus, the champion of verses. I have the belt. I'm the undefeated champion of the versus platform. And even though we on YouTube, this is still versus rules versus platform. So nothing's going to change. I'm going to win today. And as you know, for the people that don't know, I'm Tanakh only. I do not follow the New Testament as scripture. And today I'm going to show and prove that Daniel 9, 70 weeks prophecy was fulfilled without a shadow of a doubt during the time of the Greeks, during the time of the Maccabees. I'm going to use Daniel's own words to prove this. My opponent is going to try to prove that it happened during the Roman time period, which he's not going to be able to. And the reason why I wanted this debate is because I saw Hakah pick on certain Tanakh onlys they little in the truth. They don't have much now. They just getting into it. They not studied. They not the top dogs of the Tanakh only community. And when he does, he picks on them, asks them a bunch of questions, but he never want to answer questions about Daniel 9. So today he's going to have to answer questions about Daniel 9, and we're going to see how he can't. He's going to stumble. He's going to mess up, and I'm going to be victorious. All praise to the God of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm done.
Quick problem. Corey just dropped off. Priest Hakah, go ahead with your 2-minute introduction. Hopefully, Corey will come back on. All right.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, what's up?
You're muted, brother.
All right, my bad. I'm about to start my own time. Until he get back, I'll start the time. First and foremost, let's give all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh. We do so by Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai. It's crazy that he said that he's the top dog of whatever, but you know, I didn't want to take this debate. Why? Because he's not even a formidable opponent to me. They know why I took this debate. It took some major compensation for me to even take my time to entertain this guy. He's saying he's a top dog, but Hassad literally stomped him out in a debate. So in this debate, we're going to examine one of the most precise and profound prophecies in the Bible. This prophecy gives literal math. It outlines a timeline that points directly to the coming of the Messiah and, keyword, the ultimate destruction of the temple and city. My position is rooted in the plain reading of the text and supported by both biblical language and historical chronology. The 70 weeks are prophetic weeks, each week representing 7 years and a 360-day prophetic years. as is consistent with other time prophecies in scripture. The clock begins with the decree to restore and rebuild Jerusalem, not just the temple. All right. I want you guys to understand that the decree was issued by Artaxerxes, 444 BC, counting 69 weeks. It brings us up to the Messiah being crucified in 32 AD. The final week, the 70th week, is the Roman Israelite wars that lasted 7 years. And we know what happened in the middle of that. My opponent will argue that this prophecy somehow ends with Antiochus' epiphany in Onias 3, placing the fulfillment centuries earlier and starting his clock at 588 BC based on a misreading of Jeremiah 24 and no scholarly sources. We're going to see that this view fails to reach the full fulfillment of what Daniel 9 is talking about. He's going to offer clumsy patchwork timeline and faulty interpretations and pseudo scholarship, cherry pick dates, but he's going to get exposed by Hashem Yahushai. I asked the audience to pay attention to see who makes sense and who is confusing as hell. All praises.
All right, good deal, man. I apologize about that, man. We had a little issue. I got kicked out, but I'm quite sure Brother Garfield stepped in. So we're going to keep it rolling. We're going to set the timer to the 10-minute. Gdal, you good to go?
Yes, indeed. I'm good to go. I just need my PowerPoint on the screen.
All right, Brother Garfield, can you handle that? All right, we got it up there. Can everybody see it? Hit the chat if you can see the PowerPoint. Hit the chat. All right, put ones in the chat if you can see it. Put ones in the chat.
Hey, you can put me on the screen too if you can, or if you can't, it's fine.
Brother Garfield, can you do that? I think we can. Everybody see Gdal? Put twos in the chat if you see Gdal.
It's gonna cut his presentation off. He got to put us to the side.
Yeah.
Brother Garfield, did you hear that?
If you can put it to the side, put it to the side. If you can't, then it's fine.
There you go. There you go. Just like that.
All right, put threes in the chat if you can see it. We can see it on the stage. Put threes in the chat if y'all can see it, and we're gonna take off. Priest Hakah versus Gdal. We got Gdal in round one right now. It's finna get lit. Daniel 9, or just the book of Daniel, period, because I'm quite sure they're going to be touching some other things. 70-week prophecy. What did it happen during the times of the Romans or the Greeks? All right, we got threes in the chat. Gdal, if you good to go, the time will start when you start.
All right, let's go. Daniel 9, 70 weeks were completed during the time of the Maccabees, which is the time of the Greeks. And we're going to prove this. Some important things to point out before we start. Let's read. It says, know therefore and discern that from the going forth of the word to restore and build Jerusalem unto one anointed, a prince shall be 7 weeks. And for 62 weeks it shall be built again with broad place and moat, but in troublous times. And after the 62 weeks shall an anointed one be cut off and be no more. In verse 25, it does not say the Messiah. There is no definite article in the Hebrew. It simply says Messiah, anointed one, or Mashiach. 38 out of 39 times in the KJV is translated to anointed. Why is Daniel 9 different? I'll let you guys think about that. The Messiah is HaMashiach. So it's important to know a difference from an anointed one and the anointed, or the Messiah. Daniel 9 is not talking about this future, the Messiah. Verse 25, the 7 weeks, which is 49 years, is separate from the 62 weeks, the 62 weeks, which is 434 years. How do we know this? Because in verse 26, it lets us know that. In the Hebrew, there is a definite article this time for the 62 weeks. It says ha shabaim, separating it from the 7 weeks. There are 2 anointed ones in this chapter. The first anointed one comes after 7 weeks, which is 49 years. And the second anointed one is cut off after 62 weeks, which is 434 years. There is a big difference from the 7 weeks and the 62 weeks. They are not to be clung together. Cyrus is the first anointed one of Daniel 9. Isaiah 45 verse 1 lets us know Cyrus is the Lord's anointed. It says, thus said the Lord to his anointed, to Cyrus. So everybody know without a shadow of a doubt, Cyrus is the Lord's anointed one. So now let's get to the math. We're going to start with the first time period, which is 7 weeks to 49 years. Where do we start this math from? It says from the going forth of the word, the bar. Who gave this word? Let's read Ezra chapter 1, verse 1. Now, in the first year of King Cyrus of Persia, that the word by the Lord of the mouth of Jeremiah might be accomplished, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia. So Ezra lets us know that Cyrus is fulfilling what Jeremiah spoke. Jeremiah gave that word, which is why Daniel is thinking on Jeremiah's prophecy. In Jeremiah 29, verses 10 through 14, God tells us he would fulfill his good word, his good debar. What word? Let's read Jeremiah 24, and we're going to start at verse 4. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, like these good figs, so will I regard the captives of Judah, who I have sent out of this place into the land of Chaldees for their good. I will set my eyes upon them for good, and I will bring them back to this land, and I will build them up. Now, God said after he brings them out of the land of the Chaldees, which is Babylon, he would build them up in their land. Now, when God says he's going to build us up, it's talking about our government, our city, our temple, everything. So he said he would do that after Babylon. So remember, if I have the Bible Hub timeline right here, Jeremiah gives the prophecy of Jeremiah 24 and Jeremiah 29 in the year 588 BCE. Now, let's subtract the 7 weeks, which is the 49 years, from 588. You will be at 539. The exact same year Cyrus defeats Babylon. We have that right at the bottom. Cyrus describes how he conquered Babylon in 539 BCE. It's not a coincidence that exactly 49 years, exactly 7 weeks that the prophetic word was sent out, we have the Lord's anointed one on the scene. There is no coincidence. This is a fulfillment of the first time period, the 49 years. The word went forth, exactly 49 weeks. The Lord's anointed is on the scene, just like Daniel 9 says. Now, the 62 weeks, the 62 weeks, which is 434 years. You start this from the start of the Babylonian captivity. Why? Because everything that Daniel is asking has to do with the rise and fall of Babylon and the captivity and the reestablishment of Israel. So you have to put everything in context. Daniel chapter 9, verse 1, Daniel talking about exactly this. From the start of Nebuchadnezzar's reign of Babylon in 605 BCE, all the way to the death of the anointed one cut off in 171 BCE. This is exactly 62 weeks, 434 years. If you subtract the 434 from the 605, the 62 weeks, you get 171 exactly, precisely. Onias the high priest is killed in 171 BCE. Second Maccabees chapter 4, verses 33 through 35 documents this. Leviticus 4 calls the high priest the anointed. It says, HaKohen HaMashiach, the priest, the anointed, or the priest, the Messiah. This is how we know Onias the high priest is the second anointed one. During this time, the temple was rebuilt in troubled time. All you have to do is read the books of Ezra and Nehemiah, and it ended with the anointed one being cut off, just like Daniel 9 said. After 62 weeks, an anointed one would be cut off, and that is Onias. Now, it says, verse 26, after the 62 weeks shall an anointed one be cut off, and be no more. And the people of a prince shall come and destroy the city and the sanctuary. Right? Who is this? This is Antiochus Epiphanes and the Seleucid Empire. They did this. This is the 7-year covenant, the last week that Daniel talks about, verse 27. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. This is a 7-year covenant. Let's read. In 171, just like we talked about, Menelaus gets Onias killed and becomes high priest. This starts Antiochus robbing the temple. Second Maccabees chapter 4 and chapter 5 documents this. 3.5 years later, in 167 BCE, halfway through the week, He corrupts and destroys the city and the temple, also sacrificing a pig on the altar. This is what Daniel 9:27 says. He shall confirm the covenant with 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. This is a fulfillment of that right here during the time of the Greeks. Now, at the end of this week, in 164 BC, the temple is rededicated and anointed by the Maccabees. That's 1 Maccabees chapter 4, verses 52 to 58. Daniel 9:24 says, and to anoint the most holy place. This is why we celebrate Hanukkah. Daniel 9 is literally talking about Hanukkah. And it says right here, from 171 BCE to 164 BCE is exactly 70 years. It's exactly 7 years. And 167 is exactly the middle of the 7 years. When the abomination of desolation happened, the sacrifice ceased. This is clear and precise what Daniel 9 is talking about, and it happened during the time of the Greeks. Another thing that's important, Daniel said the Greeks would do it. I didn't say it. Daniel said it. He tells us the Greeks would do it in Daniel chapter 8, verse 11 through 21. Let's read. And the he-goat magnified himself exceedingly, and he was strong, and the great horn was broken, and instead of it there came up the appearance of 4 horns toward the 4 winds of heaven. And yea, it magnified himself even to the prince of the hosts, and from him the continuing burnt offering was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. This is what Daniel 9 is talking about. Now, it says the he-goat would do this, correct? Now, verse 21, who does Daniel say the he-goat is? The rough he-goat is the king of Greece. The rough he-goat is the king of Greece. Daniel said the Greeks would do this, not the Romans. If someone says the Romans did this, they would be calling Daniel a liar and a false prophet. It's clear. We went through the first week, we went through the 62 weeks, and now we just went through the last week. I just showed you the fulfillment clearly and precisely with dates, history, and the words of Daniel. It's clear. This debate is already over. I can see the rest of my time.
All right. He concedes the rest of his time with 20 seconds left on the clock. Shout out to Gdal, closing out round 1. We're going into round 1, the second of the latter half of Priest Hakah, going into his premise on the topic Daniel 9. We're talking about the 70-week prophecy. Did it take place in the Roman period or the Greek period? We're going to reset this 10 minutes right quick. All right, for Priest Hakah. And make sure you snatch up those children's books on Genesis144.com. Make sure y'all snatch them up. Priest Hakah got them inside of the of his visual right there. So snatch them up. Genesis144.com. Somebody threw it in the chat. Other than that, Priest Hakah, can we get a mic check?
Mic check. All praise to the Most High.
All right, Brother Garfield. Well, let me ask Priest Hakah, would you be doing a PowerPoint?
Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen. All
right, good deal. So we got the time set up, Brother Garfield. If you can share Priest Hakah.
Let's see. Okay, there we go.
Hey man, who got Gdal up so far, man? Put it in the chat, man. If you got Gdal up, be honest. Put it in the chat, man. This is the verses, man, on the Brother Garfield podcast.
That was horrible, man.
Right,
okay, so I'm ready.
All right, so the time will start when you start, Priest.
All right.
1 second. Bro, maybe you need to I don't know what your program you're using. You're using Key Point, right? Or Key whatever, right?
Key Notes. Oh, hold on. I know what to do.
Yeah.
I know what to do right here.
You sure? Wow. Because if you press that, it's gonna go by a timer. So you sure you want to do that?
Yeah, I know how to do it. It's not gonna go by a timer. I can manually do it.
I just wanted it to make it bigger on the screen. All right, cool.
Okay,
yeah. All right.
So as soon as I start, we start?
Time will start when you start, sir.
All right. Let's go. Round 1. All right. Daniel 70 weeks fulfilled in Greek or Roman period. Daniel 9:24. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city. Everyone agrees these are spiritual weeks, each day for a year, totaling 490 years, but they're prophetic years. It's not a random assumption. This is Bible-based. The Bible talks about how days represent years, weeks represent 7 years. But they're prophetic years on a prophetic calendar. There's scriptural evidence for this. They're 360-day years, not our solar 360, 25-day years. Where do we see this? Revelation 11, where it talks about 42 months, which is 1,260 days. That would mean each month is 30 days, 1 year, 360 days. Now, so 490 prophetic years would be 483 of our solar years. All of this would have to happen within this time period. Determined 70 weeks, the holy city, finish the transgression, making the end of sins, making reconciliation for iniquity, bringing in everlasting righteousness, sealing up the vision of the prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. What does finish the transgression mean? He's saying that it means, oh, they get 500 years to go be gay, because that's what he's saying. They get 500 years to keep committing sin. That's ridiculous. This phrase means transgression will end, and is speaking to ending Israel's rebellion once and for all. Now, while Yahushua's death on the cross was the beginning of that process, the legal sacrifice made for the restoration, the actual finishing of the transgression won't be complete until we are in the kingdom under the new covenant, which his death was for when we no longer sin. It says to make an end of sin. Also echoing that same prior phraseology. So although sin still exists, this phrase points to the legal mechanism by which sin would be removed, i.e. the new covenant under Yahushua through his blood being the down payment for the future covenant where the law is written on our inward parts. That covenant has not been implemented yet, but the foundation was laid by him through him. All right. Now, to make a reconciliation for iniquity, this is given mediation talk. The mediator restores us because of our sins. Yahweh turned his back on Israel. Yahushua's role as the high priest and mediator reconciles that broken relationship. He offered himself as a once for all sacrifice, giving us access back to the Father, Hebrews 9:26. Now, instead of animal offerings and Levitical rituals, we have an intercessor because we cannot do animal sacrifice at the temple. Also, it says to bring in everlasting righteousness. Kingdom righteousness by Yahushua, which hasn't been fulfilled, but it's coming through Yahushua. He is the vessel through which everlasting righteousness will be brought into the earth. Isaiah 9:7 says his kingdom will be ruled with justice and righteousness forever. Through him, Israel will finally walk in perfection with the laws written on our hearts. Yahushua makes this possible, even though the reality of it awaits. His death was the precursor and catalyst. Let's go to number 5. To seal up the vision and the prophecy, this just means that at the end of the 70 weeks, everything said to him in the vision would come to completion and end at 70 AD. Number 6, to anoint the most holy. Yahushua's heavenly priesthood, we know as above, so below. So there is a temple in heaven. This isn't about the earthly temple. Hebrews 9:24 tells us Yahushua didn't enter a temple made with hands, but the heavenly one. When he arose and ascended, he entered the true holies of holies to present his blood, anointing the most holy place in heaven with his perfect sacrifice. Why the weeks in Daniel 9 are compartmentalized? What does that mean? They're isolated. You see it right here. Know and therefore that the going forth to the commandment to restore and rebuild Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. So right here, we see the prophecy divided into parts. 7 weeks, which is 49 years. He agrees. 62 weeks, which is 434 years. Then in verse 27, it says he shall confirm the covenant for 1 week. There's a clear division. 7, 62, 1. Right? But they're not treated as a continuous block. That's true. Let's break it down. The text literally splits time periods. Daniel could have said 69 weeks, but he didn't. He purposely split 7 and 62, which suggests they are continuous, but separate events or phases. So the fact that he groups them together shows you that they are a continual block. He tried to separate them. This literally separation allows you to compartmentalize them, meaning they can refer to distinct time frames, or functions.
5 minutes left.
Historical fulfillment supports this division. The first 7 weeks, starting at 444 BC, is dealing with the rebuilding of the temple, like Daniel says. This happened under Nehemiah and Ezra and took decades to do. Now, the 62 weeks continues from there after the rebuilding, leading directly to the arrival and death, crucifixion of the Messiah at 32 AD. The last 1 week, 7 years, is separated in Daniel 9 and 27. This week is not grouped with the first. This week, events happen like the destruction of the city, temple, and sacrifice ending. So when does the 70 weeks start according to the Bible? It starts right here. We're not going to play games. Oh, debar this, debar that. Debar means commandment. It starts at the restoration of the rebuilding of Jerusalem. That's where it starts at. So when did this happen? What date was this? That's how we know when the weeks will start. Nehemiah is sent to rebuild Jerusalem in 444 BC. This is from Dr. Constable's expository notes. He says that this happened in 444 BC, right? This is Nehemiah chapter 2. We have internal evidence. He's sent to rebuild Jerusalem by King Artaxerxes in Nehemiah chapter 2. That's when the week starts. So now that we know that, we know the prophetic years are 483 years. Which is 476 solar years. From that starting point, the Messiah will be on the scene and be crucified. It says it in verse 26. And after the 62 weeks, 69 weeks, the Messiah will be cut off, but not for himself. 444 BC, 476 prophetic years, which are 483 prophetic years is 476 solar years, brings you to 32 AD. The scholars say he died from 30 to 33 AD. He's in a body bag. Now, verse 26, and the people of the prince, after the Messiah dies, the prince will come. This prince will come and destroy the city and the sanctuary. This prince will come with legions. This is the Roman legions. The prince is Titus, the son of Vespasian. He was going to destroy the city and the sanctuary. He burned it, flattened it. Utterly destruction. The second temple, the central place of the Israelites' worship, was completely destroyed, never rebuilt till this day. That's what Daniel 9 says. Antiochus didn't do this. This wasn't a partial judgment. This was a total annihilation, like Daniel said would happen. It says the end thereof shall be with the flood, not literal water. This is an overwhelming military invasion. I'm going to ask him, did Titus destroy more or did Antiochus? The Roman forces flooded Jerusalem with violence. Even Josephus says blood was running in the streets of Jerusalem with over 1 million deaths. Until the end of the war, desolations are determined. Meaning it wouldn't stop in 70 AD. It would go all the way to 73 AD. He can't prove that. Now, he shall confirm the covenant. He shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice to cease. Now, who is the he here? The same as the prior, Titus Vespasian, right? And the people of the prince shall come. We proved that contextually. Confirm the covenant. Confirming the covenant or the oath is in connection with Daniel chapter 9, where it says, yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses. The word covenant and oath here are interchangeable. So the oath in Daniel 9 and 11 refers to the curses of Deuteronomy 28. So when it says he will confirm the not about the new covenant. It's about God using Titus Vespasian to implement the curses of Deuteronomy 28 and that the old covenant curses. We see that in Leviticus 26 and 25, where the Lord will send armies against you to carry out the curse of the covenant. Bars, right? Now, Titus Vespasian fulfills this covenant curse, right? This 1 week curse, 7 years, where he interrupts or completely annihilates the temple where we cannot sacrifice in 70 AD. He fulfills other curses surrounding 70 AD where we're permanently exiled and our land is permanently destroyed. That's 7 years fitting perfectly. 66 to 73. He can't get around this. And in the middle of that week is 70 AD where he destroys the temple, right? And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice to cease. We talked about that. For the overspreading of abominations, this is what he's going to have to deal with. This was total destruction. That didn't happen with Antiochus, but it did with Titus. All praises to the Most High. He's done.
Time. Right on time, brother. Right on time. We just reset the 10 minutes. We're going into round 2. Make sure you guys support Gdal Hakah with Prolific Wellness Touch. We got a couple of people just coming into the room. Support the brother's business. He's doing some excellent things with pain management and neuromuscular therapy. I know people may be dealing with those issues or have people in their families or in their neighborhoods require such a trade. So make sure y'all reach out to Gdal with Prolific Wellness Touch. Just simple Google and all of his credentials will pull up. Also, we got the good brother Priest Hakah with Genesis144.com with the children's Bibles. Make sure y'all click Genesis 144 with the children's Bibles. We're going into round 2 right now, which allows for a continued premise as well as a rebuttal. So you can also include a rebuttal, or you can just do 10 minutes full of rebuttal, or you can do a little mix and match. That's on you guys to do it, but it allows for that. Bible verses and, of course, sources is allowed. No interruptions in round 2. Gdal, you are first. The time is set at 10 minutes. Gdal, can we just get a quick mic check? If you're inside of the audience, put who you got so far, man. These boys just went in round 1. Right. Who you got so far? Throw it in the chat. Gdal, what you got? Mic check.
I'm here, mic check. I'm here. You can put me at the top.
All right, good deal. Would you be utilizing the your PowerPoint?
Yes, indeed.
All right, good deal. Brother Garfield, let's get that up. All right. So we got the PowerPoint up, and then the 10 minutes is up. Gdal, the time will start when you start.
Right, let's get to it. Why Hakah's understanding of Daniel 9 doesn't work. We're about to strike him out. The first strike, the 444 BCE 70-week start point is just bad work. The prophecy in Daniel 9:25 says the 70 weeks begins with the word to restore and build Jerusalem, not just the walls. Problem. The 444 BCE decree that Artaxerxes authorized the rebuilding of Jerusalem's walls, not the city. Historical context. The temple in some parts of Jerusalem had already begun to be rebuilt under earlier Persian decrees. They started in Cyrus in 539, Darius in 520, and Artaxerxes in 457. Conclusion. Using the 444 BCE as a start is horrible because the decree is the building of the walls, not the city. All that decree did in 444 was build the walls and continue the building of the city that was already started. How do we know this? Let's read the Bible. Nehemiah chapter 1, verse 3. The wall of Jerusalem is broken down and its gates have been burned with fire. Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 17. Let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem. Nehemiah chapter 3 describes the detailed work of the rebuilding of the wall, naming individuals and families who repaired specific sections. Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 6. So we rebuilt the wall. Nehemiah chapter 6, verse 15. So the wall was completed on the 25th of Elul. Nehemiah chapter 7, verse 1. After the wall had been rebuilt, the decree 444 was the rebuilding of the wall. The city had already begun to be built. Let's prove that. If they are built, this is Ezra chapter 4, verse 12. Before 444 BCE, they are rebuilding that rebellious and wicked city. They are restoring the walls. It already started to be built before 444 BCE. How can you start it at that decree? Verse 13, if this city is rebuilt and its walls restored, no more taxes or tribute or duty will be paid, and eventually the royal revenues will suffer. This confirms the city rebuilding was underway, and the ops feared its completion would cause political problems. This is before 444 BCE. Ezra chapter 4, verse 21. So that this city will not be rebuilt until I order. A royal decree to halt the rebuilding of the city, showing clearly it had begun before 444 BCE. This is clear. Not only was the building of the temple stopped, it marks a pause in the broader restoration efforts, including the city. How can we start from 444 for the rebuilding of the city when the city had already begun to be built? That's one strike. The second strike, being sneaky, tricky, and unhonest. Daniel 9:25 clearly separates the 70 weeks into 7 weeks and 62 weeks before the anointed is cut off. From the going forth of the word till one anointed shall be 7 weeks, and in 62 weeks the city shall be built. Problem: Hakah tries to combine the 7 and 62 to equate 69 weeks without explaining why Daniel separates them. The separation implies 2 distinct time periods. Daniel 9:26, and after the 62 weeks shall an anointed one be cut off. Key observation: verse 26 does not mention the 7 weeks again, only the 62 weeks. This clearly shows that 62 weeks are separate from the 7. Something happens after the 62, namely the cutoff. Conclusion: treating the 7 and the 62 weeks as 69 weeks together is very problematic and going against what Daniel clearly writes. Scholarly support. John J. Collins, a commentary on the book of Daniel, page 355 to page 356. Collins, a recognized expert in Daniel, writes,
5 minutes left.
There will be 7 weeks. The Masoretic text places an etnac between the 7 weeks and the 62 weeks. The Adoshan, however, reads 7 and 62 weeks, so that 69 weeks would elapse. There can be no doubt that the Masoretic text punctuation is correct. Separating the 7 weeks and the 62 weeks is the only valid reading of the text. The etnac is a major pause in the Masoretic Hebrew text, comparable to a semicolon or a period, signaling a real break. Collins affirms that verse 25 divides it into 2 distinct time periods, not one continuous 69 week span. This is clear. The scholars know. 2 strikes down. The 3rd strike and he's out. Problem: Hakah's understanding, according to Hakah's understanding, the Messiah's death doesn't happen after 69 weeks. Using 444 BCE plus the 483 years, if you use it that way, you would end up in 39 AD. Jesus Yahushua died from 30 to 33 AD according to scholars. That means Jesus was cut off before the 69 weeks ended, which contradicts Daniel 9:26. After the 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off. The cutting off happens after the 62, or in Hakah's understanding, the 69 weeks, not during them. If your time period, according to 483 years from 444 BCE, ends in 39 AD, that's after Jesus' death. It's supposed to be before. Conclusion: his math is forced, and it does not land precisely on Jesus' death. The Messiah dying before the time period ends is a big problem. Not just off by a couple years, it's off in general. Strike 3, you are out, Hakah. Your math does not work. It's forced. But one more strike just for the hell of it. Problem: in Hakah's understanding, Titus Vespasian confirms this week-long covenant in 66 CE, the start of the first Roman Jewish war till 73 CE. Why Titus cannot be the he that confirmed the covenant? 1, Titus was not in command in 66 CE. The war began in 66 CE under Emperor Nero. not under Titus. Vespasian, his father, was initially put in charge. Titus only assisted as a military subordinate under his father until 69 CE. You're done. Go ahead, Hakah, Google that. I have it right at the side of the screen for you. Titus does not take supreme command until mid to late 69 CE. After Nero's death in the year of the 4 emperors, Vespasian becomes emperor in 69 CE. Only then did Titus take over as commander in Judea. So, if the covenant began in 66 CE, Titus could not have confirmed it. He neither had the rank, the authority, nor the presence to do so. 3. Titus left the war before 73 CE. While the war officially ended in 73 CE with Masada's fall, Titus returned to Rome after the temple's destruction in 70 CE, not staying the remainder. That means he was only active for about 1 to 2 years at the height of the conflict, not the full 7 years. Remember, this is a 7-year-long covenant that this man has to confirm. Titus was not around for 7 years during this time period. Now, this is the 7-year period that Hakah says is his covenant.
30 seconds left.
Titus, he was not there in the start in 66. How can he confirm it? That is bad work. What are you doing? He not only didn't start it, he left and returned to Rome before the 7-year covenant end. This is bad work, Hakah. This cannot be Daniel's last week. Titus did not confirm it. He wasn't there in 66 CE. And at the end of the 7 years, he was not around. Done. Body bag.
Time. My bad. I got kicked out right at the 1 minute marker. Appreciate that, Gdal, for stopping right on time. I'm going to reset to the 10 minutes. If the audience can put in the chat how you guys felt Gdal did in round 2. Make sure you guys support his business, Prolific Wellness Touch, that manages pain as well as focuses on neuromuscular therapy. So make sure you guys just simple Google Prolific Wellness Touch and you'll find Gdal's business. We are about to move into the second half of round 2. Priest Hakah, can I get a mic check, brother? Can I get a mic check?
Mic check.
All right, we got Priest Hakah up. We got the 10 minutes up. Would you be utilizing a PowerPoint?
Yeah, I sure am. Take that off the screen. Take that off the screen. That's satire. I'm gonna have to charge him for using my imagery, my name, image, and likeness. Let's go.
Let's get that up on the screen if you can, Brother Garfield.
Now watch this, y'all.
We got Daniel 9, 70-week prophecy.
Oh man.
What was the time period that it happened in? Was it the time period of the Romans, the time period of the Greeks? Priest Hakah,
your screen.
make sure locked in.
Just your screen, Hakah. I'm sorry, Corey.
Okay.
No, you good. We all up here. Man.
Is my screen good?
Yeah, we just want to make sure your screen is seen properly and it's large enough. I don't know if that's large enough for YouTube though. Is that? Hold on. Let me look at my phone real quick. Hold on.
Let me know if y'all can see that.
I don't want you to have. I want you to have the same type of.
No, don't worry. It's good. Let me see.
It's still low, but I mean, can you guys on YouTube see it clearly? I just want to make sure you could see it clearly. That's all.
Hit the chat.
Where's the
sound? It's not. Let me go closer. What about that?
All right, yeah, that's good. That looks better.
Okay. So you just gotta make sure you're not missing. Gotta make sure you're not missing anything on your PowerPoint though. That's it.
Okay. I don't have a PowerPoint. I'm just going over some texts.
Okay, got you. So yeah, it's much closer.
Corey to pause if you want to change scriptures. All right, so you don't use it.
Okay, bet.
Yeah, we can do that. Problem, I can do that. The time will start when you start in your second round, Priest Hakah.
All right, let's go. This man is a wolf in sheep's clothing, and I'm gonna explain to you guys. He told all you guys, his flunkies and followers, that the time period couldn't start with Artaxerxes in 444 BC because he said that Artaxerxes only built the wall. This how you know this guy is here just to be a liar. He's not about truth. He's not about sincerity. In Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 4, it says, then in verse 5, and I said unto the king, if it please the king, and if thy servant have found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldest send me unto Judah, unto the city. You guys hear that? The city. That I may build it. What's the it? The city. This guy just lied and said, oh, Nehemiah only was sent to build the wall by Artaxerxes. He's a liar. He's not here for sincerity. He's cloud chasing, but he's about to get stomped out. Now, let's keep going. He is the source. This is what we knew his heart broke down before we started. He shot himself in the head.
Pause the time. Pause the time. Pause the time. Pause the time. Pause the time.
I'm pausing right now.
You see what happened, right?
I believe it's
hey,
your mic.
Hakah, when you go too close, we can't hear one word. It blanks out. A lot of it when you were reading. So let me say this. I'm not trying to supervise or override Corey. Let's start over so that the people could see it because your mic was going on. In all fairness, all right, bro.
Okay.
Let's read that over and start.
I started yelling, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, Priest Hakah, just to keep it real, it was only when you really raised your voice. So you might have to check your mic level or something. But it was only when you really raised your voice, we couldn't hear you at all.
Yeah, your mic is good when you talk normal.
Okay. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's do this. This should be better. I was yelling and screaming. Start me from the top. Let's start this over. I'll go through the same one. All right.
All right, cool.
All right. We're going to start 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So like I was saying, this guy is an ultimate liar and a wolf in sheep's clothing, and he got to die today. And you guys who follow him should be mad at him because he was going to give you some information that was going to get your ass tore up. He tried to go to Nehemiah chapter 2 and lie to you guys, lie on the word of God. He's so Tanakh only and Yah only, but hey, he don't have the Holy Spirit. He going to say that Nehemiah Artaxerxes only gave the commandment to rebuild the wall. Nehemiah chapter 2 verse 5 says, and I said unto the king, if it please the king, and if thy servant had found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldest send me unto Judah, unto the city, not just the wall, the city of my father's sepulchre, that I may build it. What's the it is talking about? The wall. No, the city. So he's just disingenuous. He's not sincere. Again, he's just here to cloud chase. He's not the versus champion. He's a liar. Now, he used the Bible timeline, a fatal mistake, and just committed suicide against himself. He used the Bible timeline as conventional chronology. Who does that? The same Bible timeline he's using says that Jesus Christ resurrected in 30 AD. Now, I dare this guy. I dare this little baby to sit up here and say Jesus resurrected in 30 AD. So even his source, he would disagree with his source. The same source that says Jeremiah 24 was 588 BC, and that's when he says the 70 weeks starts, is the same source that says Jesus resurrected in 30 AD, and this nigga don't believe that. But he gonna use this source, though. That's what you call kamikaze suicide mission. Now, let's go up to where it says Jeremiah 24 started at. The Bible timeline, this is how you know, I said pseudo-scholarship. The Bible timeline, Bible Hub says Jeremiah 24 is 588 BC. How can it be 588 BC when we look at Jeremiah 24? If he read the Bible, he wouldn't use these faulty pseudo sources. Jeremiah 24:1, he's done. The Lord showed me, and behold, 2 baskets of figs were set before the temple of the Lord, after Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had carried away captive Jeconiah. This happens after when Jeconiah is sent into exile and Zedekiah is raised up in his position. That is 597 BC. He will not find one scholarly source. Look at me, Gdal. Look at me, nigga. You won't find one scholarly source that says Jeremiah 24 was 588 BC. I dare you. And you're going to have to deal with this in the cross-examination, my boy. Now, I got 3 scholarly sources that says it's 597 BC when Jeremiah 24 was written. So his math is not mathing because he has a fake source that says 588, and this is not even the going forth of the commandment to rebuild Jerusalem. This is a prophecy here. This is a prophecy here. This isn't the going forth of the commandments to rebuild Jerusalem. It's a prophecy, and it's written in 597 BC, according to 3 scholarly sources that I have here. This is Jeremiah. It talks about the timeline of Jeremiah. Where's it at? 597 between the 597 BC. Look at it. Jeremiah 24, 597 BC. Kaufman's commentary. Jeremiah 24, 597 BC. The chronology of Jeremiah. Jeremiah 24, 597 BC. These are 3 scholarly sources. When he crosses me, I'll give him the sources. He's over with. Now, Jeremiah 24, I want to talk about this even some more. He said, I want everybody to hear this. He said that Jeremiah 24 and verse 6 was fulfilled when we went back to Babylon. Let me show you guys how much of an idiot this guy is. And when we got back to Babylon, according to the book of Ezra chapter 9, we were in captivity still. Look what it says. And I will build them up and not pull them down. And I will plant them and not pluck them up. Gdal. How are we getting built up when we're in captivity to the Persians? Ezra chapter 9 and 9 says we're in captivity to the Persians. Nehemiah chapter 9 says we're in bondage to the Persians. How in the hell are we getting built up if we're getting oppressed and stomped out and plucked down and stomped down in captivity? He don't understand the prophecy. And then it says, I will plant them and I will not pluck them up. What happened after the Persian era?
5 minutes left.
What happened after the Persian captivity? We went into slavery and went exiled to Greek provinces. So we were plucked up again. He cannot use this. Then he tries to go to his 62 weeks starting at 605. Let's go to Daniel 9 and show you guys how he doesn't even believe in his own translation. Look at the JPS Tanakh. He's just disagreeing with all of his sources. How in the hell in the JPS Tanakh does Daniel 9 and 25 say that the 7 weeks start first? You guys hear that? Gdal, you hear that? The 7 weeks start first. You got the 7 weeks starting at 588. Then the 62 weeks are supposed to start after that, but he's got the 62 weeks starting at 605. When Daniel 9 doesn't even say that the weeks start at the beginning of Babylon. But he said, oh, the week started at the beginning of Babylon. He's now rewriting Daniel chapter 9. You can't do that, boy. You're in the big leagues now, and you have to deal with this on the cross-examination. What else did he say? Some of my rebuttals here that I'm going to have to get to. Antiochus Epiphany. Oh, the 7-year covenant. And he lied to you guys about the 7-year covenant. He lied to everybody watching, Messianic Israelites and non-Messianic Israelites. He came out and said Antiochus made a 7-year covenant. Where in the hell was that in the book of Maccabees that he made a 7-year covenant? That was a complete lie. Menelaus bribing him to kill a high priest is not a 7-year covenant. Us voluntarily becoming Hellenized is not a 7-year covenant. That was a lie. Then he cannot explain how Daniel 9 at the end, when it says the consummation, let's pull that up. The consummation. What does the word consummation mean, Gdal? It's in the Masoretic text. Look at what it means. Complete destruction. He straight bypassed the language of Daniel 9 that it's supposed to be complete destruction after the end, when the weeks end. Antiochus didn't do that. Who gave us a complete destruction more? Antiochus, where we rededicated the temple 3 years later? Or Titus Vespasian, where we still have not got the land back, it's still laid waste, and the temple is still laid waste? A 3-year destruction versus a 2,000-year destruction. Who did more of a complete annihilation? Of course, it would be Titus Vespasian, the Roman Israelite wars. What else I got? Oh, so he said that the 62 weeks. Let me go up out of here real quick. The 62 weeks have to be they're not lumped together. They shouldn't be clung together. If that's the case, in Daniel 9, I want you guys to see Daniel did this methodically. And I answered his question. He tried to act like I didn't answer. He said the 62 weeks and the 7 weeks shouldn't be a continuous one block. How when he grouped them together? The reason why he's even saying 7 weeks and 62 weeks, because I said this and you're not listening. I said the 7 weeks is about rebuilding the temple and the city. The 62 weeks come after that, and that leads up to the arrival of the Messiah and his crucifixion. But he's not listening. He goes to Ezra chapter 1, and let's go to Ezra 1. Let's go to Ezra 1. Let's see if Cyrus gives the decree to rebuild the temple. No, he doesn't. I'm sorry, the city, the whole city. The
minute left.
Now, in the first year of Cyrus, the king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus. And look what he says, right? He says, here we go, verse 3. Who is there among you of all his people? His God be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and build the house of the Lord. But the command, so he's trying to start the weeks as if this has anything to do with this, but the Daniel 9 actually says that it's supposed to be the restoration or the restoring to build the city, not the temple. So when we get to the cross-examination, he's going to have to deal with this and many more questions and rebuttals that we have. You're not going to make it, my man. I'll yield on that. All praise to the Most High.
All praise to the Most High. We're going to stop the clock right at 2 seconds. Hey, man, shout out to both brothers utilizing the time wisely. Shout out to Brother Garfield podcast for having us at the Versus platform. We got the Daniel 9, if you're just coming in, the 70-week prophecy debate, whether it took place in the Roman time period or the Greek time period. Right now, we're moving into round 3, and it's just right on time because both of these brothers don't added a little hostility and energy. So this is my favorite round, which is the questionnaire round, the hot seat round. Of course, Gdal will be asking questions first, and Priest Hakah will be on the hot seat. First and foremost, I want to be able to plug these brothers' platforms for doing excellent work in the community. Firstly, I want to start with Prolific, or Gdal Gdal, as I know him. Prolific Wellness Touch. If you can support the brother's business, just simply put it into Google. All of his credentials will pull up. Prolific Wellness Touch. They specialize in pain management and neuromuscular therapy. We also got the brother Priest Hakah focusing on children's Bibles, which is extremely dope as well. Children's Bibles, you can find that on Genesis144.com. These things take time. Certain trades take time to learn and specialize at. So support the brother Gdal, as well as it takes time to put together books and money and energy. So make sure you support Priest Hakah's works as well. Right now, we in round 3, man. We got Priest Hakah on the hot seat. Both of these brothers' energy is high. Hit the chat, man, who you got. Round 1 and round 2, that's your premise and your rebuttal. So hit the chat on who you got, man. Both, I don't know who I got right now. I might be having some private conversations with some people. I can't ever publicly say it. But hit the chat on who y'all got, man. I want to see who y'all swaying, because round 3, everybody know round 3 on the verses, though you really laid your premise down in the first 2 rounds, it kind of dictated a little bit. So just to go over the rules for everybody to come back in, because now the debate switches up a little bit and both brothers' mics may be open at the same time. Gdal will have Priest Hakah on the hot seat first. Priest Hakah, all you can do is give answers, no questions. Gdal, you will be sending out questions and you can also make points. You got 20 minutes to do so. I'll switch it up just a little bit. I'll call time at 10, 5, and 1. I'll do it 10, 5, and 1, very similar to round 1 and round 2, but I'll just add the 10-minute marker as well. 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left, 1 minute left. I'll do that. Also, I'll be calling the answer time. If you guys extend up to 2 minutes, I'll be calling that time as well, and I'll just simply say 2 minutes up on your answer, and then it'll bounce back to the person who's asking the question. Person who's asking the question, though energy may be high, I will hold you to not talk over the other brother. So just for clarity, on Gdal's end, I will hold you to not talk over the other brother, even if you feel like he's not answering your question. He has the space to answer exactly how he would like to answer. Besides that, let's advance into the other set of rules in terms of the answering. The brothers on the hot seat, if you are asked a yes or no question, and yes or no is in the question, you must start your answer off with yes or no, and then you have the space to answer. You are allowed to answer and say, I don't know. But if you say, I don't know, you have no space to expound. It's just, I don't know, and it simply bounces back to the person who's asking the question. You can't explain your I don't know. So it's just, I don't know, bounce it back to the person who's asking the question, and then they can continue. Also, in terms of the other one, no rhetorical like answers, no rhetorical question like answers. You can't add a question mark in there. We're going to stop the time and reset you, and then have the person who's asking the question restate their question and continue. Any questions for any one of you guys?
Nah, let's get it.
All right, let's get it. Gdal, your mic is good. Both got a mic check going on right now. We good. All right, we got
good money.
For Gdal. We got some people for Priest Hakah. It's kind of even balance in the chat, man. Both of you brothers is cooking. Gdal, it's on you to. Are you sharing the screen or anything, Gdal? Or you good?
No, I'm not. Nope.
All right, good deal. So, Gdal, is on you to start your questions. As soon as you start the questions, I am going to start the time, and I will stop to reset us. So everybody just yield to the moderation, regardless of what your emotions may be telling you to do. All right, Gdal, is on you, King.
All right, my first question. What nation did Daniel directly say would cause the sacrifices and the oblations to cease?
Well, Daniel chapter 9 is going into the Roman time period. So I'm not sure what your question is predicated on.
In Daniel chapter 8, who does Daniel say will cause the sacrifices to cease? Directly.
Okay, well, I got to look at Daniel 8, so let's take a look at it. Okay. Daniel 8. I have to ask what verse, or I'm just going to be looking.
That's fair. I'll stop the time.
I thought you would know it, my bad. But it's Daniel chapter 8.
Just to say right quick, I stopped the time. That was the only thing that I was going to say before.
Okay, yeah. You can keep the time going. I see it.
Yeah, but just try to call out the verse that'll kind of help us move it along, if y'all can.
Okay, got you. Mm-hmm. Okay, you can roll the time. So for one, I'll answer the question. In Daniel 8 and 11, this right here is speaking about the Greeks. But the debate, let me just read it. He even exalted himself as high as the prince of the host, and by him the daily sacrifices were taken away, and the places of his sanctuary were cast down. Now, I don't disagree that Antiochus is the fulfillment of the dedication, and that is spoken of in Daniel chapter 8 and in Daniel chapter 11, and I believe Daniel chapter 12. But the title of this debate is not Daniel 8. The title of this debate is not Daniel 11. The title of this debate is the Daniel 9 70 weeks. So to conflate this shows why you're on a rudimentary level.
Does Daniel name by name any other nation that would take away the sacrifice? And that's a yes or no question.
In Daniel chapter 8, it doesn't name it by name. It doesn't even name it by name right here in Daniel 8 and 11. So can you clarify your question?
In Daniel 8, he specifically identifies the he-goat that takes away the daily sacrifice as the Greeks. He does name them by name. Now, in the entire book of Daniel, when he talks about the daily sacrifice being taken away, outside the Greeks, do he name any other nation?
No, he does not. But the fact that Daniel 9 is talking about the Roman period, Daniel chapter 7 the fourth beast is the Romans, it doesn't mean Daniel's prophecies stop at the Greek captivity or the Greek subjugation or time period. It does go past that into the Roman Empire. And so to say that is another fallacy. And even in Daniel chapter 8, it says it was rebuilt. In Daniel chapter 9, it said consummation, meaning total annihilation and destruction, where it would never be rebuilt.
Okay. How many abominations of desolations does Daniel prophesy about?
I believe he speaks about one in Daniel chapter 9. And then I also believe it is in Daniel chapter 11. So I think Daniel talks about the abomination of desolation twice.
All right. Is that the same abomination of desolation, or is that two separate abominations of desolation?
For me to say that it's the same abomination of desolation would be for me to agree with your position. You're asking questions that you already know the answer to. So those are two separate abomination of desolations.
Okay, great. Now in Daniel chapter 9, and you keep mentioning this consummation, verse 27, it says, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. Now, it's desolate. The city and everything is desolate. What was determined that's poured upon the desolate?
The prophecy stating that Jerusalem, the city, the land and the temple and the people will be utterly destroyed and desolated.
I don't think you understand my question. It's already desolate in Daniel 9:27. It says, even unto the consummation, that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. It's already desolate. What is poured upon the desolate?
Okay, Daniel 9:26. And after 62 weeks, shall the anointed one be cut off and be no more, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, but his end shall be with the flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined. So the translation that I'm reading, which is your translation,
27.
Doesn't work. 27. Okay. And he shall make a covenant with many for 1 week, and for half of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and offerings to cease. Upon the wing of the detestable things shall that which caused the appallment, and that until the extermination wholly determined be poured out upon. So this still is not matching with your translation. Either way, I'll just say what I believe it means. 70 AD was a destruction, and then the complete destruction would come after that as well. So it's a 7-year war. That's why it says until the end, there will still be war. So it doesn't just stop in the middle of the week at 70 AD. The war continues. And that's why it's 66 to 73, the 1 week fulfilled in the Roman Jewish wars.
All right. So what he's having a trouble with, it says that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. The city is desolate, and something determined was poured upon the city. What was determined? Verse 24, to anoint the most holy place. That's supposed to happen after the abomination of desolation. So he's struggling to answer.
Are you teaching me? Are you asking me questions or are you teaching?
Moderator, why is he cutting me off?
I'm coming back in. I just paused the time. He is allowed to instruct on a point. He's not held to ask a question.
Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah, so the time can start back whenever you start back, Gdal.
So he's struggling to show and explain what's poured upon the desolate. And in the translation he was reading, it said that determined shall be poured on the desolator. So it's telling you the person that desolates the city shall get a judgment, according to the translation he's reading. But in the KJV, the translation that he's purposely not reading, it says that shall be poured upon the desolate. So we know the city and the temple and everything, the most holy place, was supposed to be reanointed after that. So you're struggling with that. Now, you said Titus Vespasian confirms the covenant in 66 CE. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. He confirms the covenant. The covenant is dealing with the curses from the old covenant, which is why in Daniel chapter 9, verse 11, it talks about the oath. And if you listen to my slides, you'll see that the oath is interchangeable with covenant. So yes, he confirmed it.
Okay, so how can Titus Vespasian confirm the covenant in 66 CE when he wasn't on the scene or active in Judea or with the Jews in 66 CE?
The fact that he acted as the execution arm of his father, he still was leading military legions. And so I'm not sure if you knew that or not. That's how it works. A king and his son acts as the executing arm of the father. And so the sources will show that that he was the one in command. And there is a source from 67 that says 67, but either way, that's still around that week period.
Okay, are you saying that Titus Vespasian's father, Vespasian, was Roman emperor in 66 CE?
I'm answering the question that you asked me. You said, do I believe that Titus was another one that fulfilled the covenant?
Are you, yes or no? If you're saying Titus Vespasian was acting on behalf of his father and following his father's command in 66 CE, are you saying that Titus' father, Vespasian, was Roman emperor in 66 CE?
No.
Okay, so how can Titus Vespasian's son, be acting under orders of his father in 66 CE to confirm a covenant in 66 CE when neither one of them were in power or around during that time period in Judea?
They were generals. So even if they weren't, if you're a general, you still have power. If you're a general, you are moving off of the emperor. So yes, they were still in power. They were still leading the revolt and sent to crush Israelite rebellion.
So do you know that in 66 CE, Vespasian or Titus were not on the scene during that time period? It actually was Roman governors Gessius Florus and Cestius Gallius. Vespasian, Titus Vespasian or his father was not on the scene. Your math is cut. He cannot have confirmed that covenant in 66 CE because neither one of them were on the scene. They had nothing to do with Judea until 69 CE. You're done. All right, my next question. Let's get back to my questions. All right. My next question. At the end of the weeks, the person or the people that, no, I don't want that one. All right. Where do you get the understanding of solar years in Genesis chapter 1?
In Genesis chapter 1?
Yes.
I didn't reference Genesis chapter 1. Solar years dealing with the years that we would go by, these 365-day years. I went to Revelation chapter 11 and other places in the Bible that go into prophetic years. And even with the flood of Noah, I believe the math and the months that it gives shows 30-day months. So that would be prophetic years, 360-day years.
All right. So according to Genesis chapter 1, verse 14,
10 minutes.
God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years." Isn't it true that both, according to that verse, both the moon and the sun are for signs, seasons, days, and years?
If you're taking that literal, that would be a problem. So I don't have your position that the 7-day week creation in Genesis 1 was a literal time period. So I don't take that position. I believe that those days in Genesis 1 are 1,000-year periods. And we prove that by 2nd Ezra that says the world was divided into 12 parts. So creation did not take 7 literal days. So you are asking me a question based on your own presupposition and preconceived notions. I don't hold that position.
I didn't ask you about the days in Genesis 1. I asked you about this specific verse. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs, for seasons, for days, and for years. 16. And God made 2 greater lights, one to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. That is talking about the sun and the moon. According to that verse, isn't both the sun and the moon for signs, seasons, days, and years? Yes or no?
For signs, seasons, days, and years, I wouldn't take that literal because other places.
I'll stop the time. It was a yes or no question.
Salakia.
We'll just let them restate, and then you can
okay, go ahead.
The time will start back, Gdal, after you ask the question. Once Deacon start talking, the time will start back.
In Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, 15, and 16, God said he made a lesser light and a greater light to rule the day and the night. We know that's talking about the sun and the moon. He also says those 2 lights were to dictate signs, seasons, days, and years. That tells us that's a lunar solar calendar, not a solar calendar. So I'm asking him, yes or no? Doesn't this verse clearly say the lesser light and the greater light are for days, seasons, years?
Yes.
Thank you. So that cuts his whole point going this solar calendar.
Wait, I can say yes. I get to expound on my yes, right?
Yes, you
so,
get
okay, the water. So yes, I do agree with that. But the fact that I can show 360-day years, prophetically speaking, in the Old Testament and New Testament, still qualifies and validates my point.
Okay, so like we just said, he said yes. Genesis 1 and 14, it tells you the sun and the moon are for times, seasons, days, and years. That is a lunar solar calendar. So him trying to flip Daniel 9 into a solar calendar when Daniel 9 doesn't say it's a solar calendar, that's his own misinterpretation. That's false. So we just proved his solar calendar is trash. We just proved his last week, 70 week, is trash. That cannot be the first Roman Jewish war. It's all bad. All right. Your 62 weeks that you have, when is the start of the 62 weeks?
The 62 weeks are contiguous, one block to the 7 weeks. So I calculate them all together as one block. And so that means the 69 weeks would start at 444 BC. And that goes into Nehemiah chapter 2. When you lied and said, oh, it was just a wall, that was actually the city, not just the wall. So it starts there.
Okay, great. So if it starts from there and you would subtract these lunar solar years from that, you get to 39 CE. 39 CE is after the death of Jesus. Daniel 9 says the Messiah happens after the 62 weeks. So how can Hakah's understanding be correct if his 62 weeks ends in 39 CE and Jesus dies from 30 to 33 CE? That means the Messiah dies before the 62 weeks, but Daniel 9 says the Messiah would die after the 62 weeks. Bad work. So I have another question.
I'll pause the time, Gdal. Just one thing that you keep doing. It's like it's kind of like rhetorical. I don't mind the teaching. Both of you guys are allowed to teach, but you keep saying, how can, like, you know what I mean? It sounds like a question. And then you go away.
And then he answers it himself.
Allowed to address it. So this is just your second time doing it. So it's kind of light. So just watch the way that you phrasing on whatever statements you make it. I know it's a statement, but stop twisting.
Unless you want me to answer it.
All right. Got you. All right.
According to the Bible, back once you start.
All right, God. Who does the Bible say would get credit for giving the word to rebuild the city? Cyrus or Artaxerxes?
Well, Cyrus did not give the decree to rebuild the city, so I couldn't agree with Cyrus. But anyway, let me just finish this though. I would not agree with Cyrus on that. I have to talk about this real quick. I need to let me incorporate, moderator. Can I incorporate answering this into like my understanding of the weak system and where it started from?
Yeah, in the answer section, the only thing that you held down to is yes or no, and then not sending back questions. You can say what you want to say in your 2 minutes. It's anything. You can say whatever you want.
Okay, got you. The water. Okay, so can you repeat the question? You can keep the time going.
All right. I asked you, who does the Bible directly say would get credit for saying his city and things would be built? Cyrus or Artaxerxes? That is a direct question. Please answer that question.
I'm not sure who it says, if it's Cyrus or Artaxerxes, but what I do know is, according to the edict that Cyrus gave in Ezra chapter 1, he did not say anything about rebuilding the city, as Daniel chapter 9 says, when it says in verse 25, know therefore and understand
minutes left.
that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. So the commandment is to restore and rebuild Jerusalem, not Cyrus's edict to just rebuild the temple. So when you deal with these weeks, again, they are solar years, not lunar solar. These are solar prophetic years. So it comes out to 32 AD. He keeps saying 39 AD. I didn't say that. He's trying to put words in my mouth. I did the math that shows 32 AD, exactly when the Messiah was on the scene and was crucified.
Isaiah 44, verse 26. Thus saith to Cyrus, he is my shepherd. He shall perform my pleasure, even saying to Jerusalem, thou shalt be built. Is this a false prophecy, or did Cyrus say this? Matter of fact, is that a false prophecy? Yes or no?
No, I wouldn't call it a false prophecy. But what I can say is that the temple could be incorporated, but we do not see in the actual edict. You said, did Cyrus say it? Cyrus didn't say it. What did Cyrus say in Ezra 1? Did he say the city or the temple? He said the temple.
Watch the rhetorical question.
Yeah, Salakia. I caught myself.
All right. So according to the Bible, according to the book of Isaiah, God, through his prophet Isaiah, tells us that Cyrus gets the credit for saying to Jerusalem, thou shalt be built, into the temple, thou foundation shall be laid. So according to God, according to the word of God through the prophet Isaiah, it was Cyrus that gets it. And what Hakah doesn't understand, that when Cyrus gave the decree to build the temple, it's talking about everything. That's why in the book of Ezra, let me ask you this question. In the book of Ezra, does it say the children of Israel started to build the city? Yes or no?
I'm not sure. We'd have to go to and examine the passage in Ezra that you're talking about.
Okay, let's go to this. In the book of Ezra. Oh my God, I got it on my. Can you pause the time since he asked me that? So I can grab this.
Quick clarification, Corey. When he asked Deacon the question, he didn't say yes or no.
Well,
He said that
I can't say everything is not a yes or no question.
Yeah, I got it. He said, I'm not sure. And it was a clarifying question because Gdal said in the book of Ezra, which is the platform is called the verses. So, you got to call out the verse. So that's what his focus is on. So he didn't give an answer. He just said, I'm not sure because of the passage. So yeah, I stopped the time. Yeah, the time is stopped. I got it. So it's just on Gdal to give a more clarifying question so Deacon can answer. It's no biggie.
Excuse me, I thought he knew the Bible a little bit. But Ezra chapter 4, verse 12, it says, they are building that rebellious and wicked city.
Okay, yeah, of course I agree with the text. Then I would not ask, but we would have to see what time period is that verse. What year?
This is before 444 BCE. This is before Nehemiah comes from Babylon. This is before Artaxerxes.
You would have to prove that.
Well, can you stop?
You gotta let him finish. You gotta let him finish. Go ahead, Gdal.
Okay, so we see right here in Ezra chapter 4, they are rebuilding the city before 444 BCE, before Nehemiah comes from Babylon to go and finish what they already started and to build the walls, right? So that's clear. All right, he didn't know that. Let's point that out. So that completely destroys his math. We just breaking it down. Now, my next question is this. If sin hasn't been ended, how can your 70 weeks be completed if that's one of the stipulations?
Anyway, the new covenant, which Yahweh's death was for, will end sin. And the fact that I'm even being asked this question, when we cannot show sin being ended in the Greek period, shows that there has to be a different interpretation of that phraseology. But either way, there's something in the Bible or something that we use in theological terminology called proleptically speaking. So something can be left. Something can be spoken as if it already happened before in the Bible. For example, when you go to Isaiah chapter 34, verses 1-2. We see the Most High proleptically speaking about something that has like it's already happened, but it hasn't happened yet. So it's called proleptically speaking.
For the record, he says his sin has not been.
One second. I'll stop the time. So you got 30 seconds left. If you give out you can stop the time right here, and then it's just over. But if you want to give a clean question, he has 2 minutes to answer. He can answer. You know what I mean? So it's 30 seconds left. It's based on what you want to do.
Do I have to answer a question? I mean, ask a question?
No, you could just use the 30 seconds to talk, and then I'll close it out. But I'll stop the time.
All right. He says his sin has not been ended. It says it will. So how can this 70 weeks be completed in his own understanding if sin has not been ended? That means his 70 weeks is still going. It has to be concluded in the future. He's done.
Going to be bouncing over to round 3 with Deacon asking the questions and Gdal on a hot seat, man. Put in the chat who y'all got so far. Make it clean. Put it in the chat. Everybody need to hit the chat right now. This debate, the time just went off. Let me stop that. This debate is nothing short. Let me put some respect on that. This formal debate is nothing short of what I expected from Priest Hakah, who has been doing ministry for many years now, over a decade, and formal debates for over that same amount of time. And Gdal, the self-proclaimed Mr. Versus, man. I really needed to see this. And we almost there. We got 20 minutes on the formal clock. Priest Hakah got the questions. Gdal is on the hot seat. Brother Garfield is out the damn way, like on mute and quiet. That's where Brother Garfield is at. Shout out to him for having us on his platform, though. Shout out to the Versus. Hit the chat. Who y'all got? Other than that, I'm gonna reset this time. I'm gonna call the time. Deacon and Gdal, I'm gonna call it at 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left, 1 minute left, and then time and it's over. And the last minute will be ran the same way, Deacon. You know, okay. If you got some seconds on the clock, I'll give you space. If you want to take another question, then he has the full time to give the answer. And then we can move outside of the formal debate to talk about some other stuff. But I got 20 minutes on the clock right now. I'm going to just touch on the rules again. Y'all did pretty well on that. Just had to interject a couple of times. But yes or no, you got to put in. If you put the yes or no in the question, only and only if you put the yes or no in the question, then the yes or no must start in the answer. And then you'll continue. I'll pause the time if there's any technicalities. Other than that, do not interrupt. Deacon, you can't interrupt him in the middle of his answer. You got to allow him to answer in full. And other than that, no rhetorical questions on both sides. Deacon, you are allowed to make points. You're allowed to make points. If you just want to teach for 2 minutes, he can't unmute and say anything. It's just whenever you want to ask a question, the space is for you to ask the question. You got it, King?
All praises. I got it.
All right. So, Gdal, you still good on the mic check? We good on the mic check?
Yeah, I'm here. Y'all can hear me. I'm all set.
All right, good deal, man. So we got Gdal on the hot seat. If you just coming in towards the end, make sure you check the debate out in full. Daniel 9:70 week prophecy. What period did it happen in? The Greek or the Roman period? Both of these brothers are doing an excellent job. Put in the chat who you got. Let me plug in a prolific wellness touch. All right, my good brother Gdal focuses on pain management and neuromuscular therapy. You could just put in prolific wellness touch on Google. You'll be able to find all of his work there. So make sure you support the brother for your own needs as well as your family and friends. Also, go over to Genesis144.com for the children Bibles. If we can get a glimpse of those right quick, Priest Hakah, if you can show those right quick, the children's Bibles. Get these. Most of us got them kids running around. They're gonna need something that they can actually see. It got the visuals and everything for you. So, and it got our people.
The doctrine.
Start there you go. And the doctrine from start to end. So Genesis144.com and children's Bibles. We also got a website, GenesisCaskets.com. That's pending to the end of this debate. We're gonna let the people know, or we're gonna let the people decide if they want that platform to come in full fruition. So GenesisCaskets.com. Other than that, we're gonna get started. I got the 20-minute set. I got the 2-minute clock set as well, and I'm gonna try to stay unmuted as much as I can. Priest Hakah, are you sharing your screen?
Not yet. I might.
All right, if you do, Gdal, just to let you know, if he decides to share the screen, we're just gonna stop the clock so Brother Garfield can get it on, to get it up. Other than that, then we're good.
Great.
I knew somebody was gonna say, I don't do that. These brothers from the North, man, with this pause culture is crazy. I don't want to see no pauses in the chat. We're not doing it. All right. We got the time set. Priest Hakah, the time starts when you start.
Okay. All right, let's start right now. All right. So, Brother Gdal, you used Bible Hub timeline as one of your sources, yes or no?
Yes, I did.
Do you agree with that? Do you agree with the source that you used that says Jesus Christ was resurrected in 30 AD? Yes or no?
According to the Bible, yes. According to the New Testament, yes.
I pause the time. Yeah, Gdal,
yes.
you got to start with yes or no in the answer. So, Deacon, if you can restate the question right quick, and Gdal, if you can start the answer off with yes or no. The time will start back when you start your answer, Gdal.
Okay. Do you agree with your own source that says Jesus Christ was resurrected in 30 AD?
Yes, according to the Bible Hub timeline, it's using the New Testament and the Old Testament. So it's giving dates based upon what this Bible says may have happened. So they're not being biased. They say, okay, the New Testament says this happened. This is the date that this may have happened. So if we're just using the Bible or using the New Testament for what it says, the Bible Hub timeline is saying this would have happened during this time period. So yes, I do agree according to what they're bringing in the Bible Hub.
So he believes in the resurrection of Jesus Christ. All praises. All right. Is the Bible Hub timeline a scholarly source? Yes or no?
I would say yes. According to the Bible Hub timeline, it tells you they get the, let me go grab it real fast. It says they get their information. All you gotta do is go to it and read it. It says timeline based traditionally accepted time frames and general censors on a variety of sources according to Wembling's Guide to the Bible, a survey of Israel's history, mysterious numbers of the Hebrew Kings, the ESV Bible Study, the Treasury Scripture of Knowledge, and the International Standard Bible Encyclopedia and Easton's Bible Dictionary. So the Bible Hub timeline does use scholarly sources and scholarly work to get their timeline. So yes, it is a scholarly source.
Okay, according to Jeremiah 24:1, this would happen when Jeremiah is writing this. When was Jeconiah sent into exile? What year?
I believe that was 597 or around there. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Okay,
so according to Jeremiah 24, this is being written when Jeconiah is exiled in 597, and there's not one scholar. I need you to provide one scholar for me that says Jeremiah 24 was written in 588 BC. You got it.
See, I don't agree with your interpretation of that verse. It doesn't say that this was written after that time period. It says he got a vision that took place after that time period. So let's read it.
I didn't ask that question. I didn't ask that question. Pause the time. I said, show me one source, scholarly source, outside of the conventional chronology of Bible timeline. Show me one independent source that says Jeremiah 24 was 588 BC. You got the floor.
Okay, my source is the Bible Hub timeline, and I just read all the sources that they tell you.
My bad.
He's not listening.
I was on mute. My bad, y'all.
I am listening.
I already stopped the time at the point of the confusion when Deacon interjected. So, Deacon, you asked the question, and then Gdal, what did you do? You started to answer the question. And I think, Deacon, you had an issue. What was the issue that you had?
Let's clarify and qualify everything. I'm asking him to show me one scholarly source outside of Bible timeline that says Jeremiah 24 is 588 BC.
Okay, and I just told you, Bible Hub timeline is my source. I don't have a source, outside of Bible Hub timeline right now.
I got you. So one second.
Let me just finish this off. Let me just finish this off, Corey. Let me just finish my thought off, Corey, real fast. I don't want to get cut off.
Hold on. I'm finna give you the space. I just don't want to do it outside of the time. I got you, King. Okay. I get what the issue is. The issue is that Deacon, when you ask the question, he's just allowed to answer it within the 2 minutes. So I'm gonna give you the space, Gdal, to answer it. I just wanted to start the time back when you do answer it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So time out. I wasn't trying to interrupt you, King. I'm not trying to interrupt none of y'all, but I just want to hold us to versus rules. So, Deacon, if you could just restate the question, and Gdal, you are allowed to answer it within the space that you want to answer it. And if he doesn't answer it, Deacon, he's allowed to not answer it.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. All praises. So you can roll it. Do you have one scholarly source outside of Bible timeline that says Jeremiah 24 was 588 BC? Yes or no?
No, I do not have a source outside of Bible Hub timeline right now at the moment. The scholarly source that I am using is the Bible Hub timeline. And I just read and quoted from the other sources that the Bible Hub, the other scholarly sources that the Bible Hub timeline gets their information from. So at the moment, no, I do not have a source outside of that.
Okay. Do you know why 100% of scholars say Jeremiah 24 was 597, not 588 BC? Yes or no?
I don't believe they say Jeremiah 24 was that.
I paused the time. He asked you a yes or no question.
Oh, I didn't hear the yes or no. My bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm asking, do you know why 100% of scholars who ever existed and in the world today all say Jeremiah 24 was written in 597 BC? Yes or no?
Yes, I do. Because, and I wouldn't say all of them. What they're doing is what you're doing. They're misunderstanding Jeremiah 24. So we're going to read it. It says, the Lord showed, and behold, 2 baskets of figs were set before the temple of the Lord. So he's telling you these 2 baskets, right? And after Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, carried away the captives, Jeconiah, the son of Joachim, king of Judah, and the princes of Judah, with the carpenters and the smiths from Jerusalem, and brought them to Babylon. So what this verse is saying, that the Most High showed him a vision of something that happened after Jeconiah was carried away to Babylon. Verse 2, 1 basket had very good figs, like the figs that are ripe, and the other basket had very naughty figs that could not be eaten. So he's telling you, I'm showing you a vision that happens after Jeconiah gets taken to Babylon. The scholars that he's referring to, they think Jeremiah got the vision after that. But it doesn't say Jeremiah got the vision after that. He showed him something that happens after Jeconiah gets taken to Babylon. So I disagree with his interpretation of that verse.
Okay, so for the record, Jeremiah 24, there's not one scholar that would agree with him. All scholars say is 597 BC, putting his math all the way off. Now let's dig into Jeremiah 24. And Jeremiah 24:6, is that a fulfillment of us coming back from Babylon? Yes or no?
Yes, Jeremiah 24 is definitely a fulfillment. It says, and again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, like these good figs, so will I acknowledge them that are carried away of Judah, captive of Judah, whom I have sent out of this place to the land of the Chaldees for their good. So it's telling you he sent people to the land of Chaldees, that is Babylon. So this verse is talking about a people that went into Babylon, and he says he will bring those people out of Babylon to do something. So yes, this was supposed to be done after Babylon for sure.
Okay, perfect. So it says, I will bring them into the land, and he will not pluck them up. Were the Israelites plucked up after we came back from Babylon? Yes or no?
Yes, because, and I already taught you this. When we go to, I'm going to go to right here, Jeremiah, right here. I'm going to go to, is that Jeremiah?
I hope we're stopping the time.
No,
right,
Salaki. Hold on,
Salaki.
No. His time runs if somebody's stuttering or trying to think.
Okay.
It just runs. You know what I mean?
I'm getting to the verse. So Jeremiah 8, chapter 18, verse 6. It says, O Israel, can I not do with you as the potter, saith the Lord? Behold, as the clays in the potter's hand, so are ye in my hand, O house of Israel. At what instance I shall speak concerning a nation or a kingdom to pluck them up or pull them down and to destroy it. If that kingdom, if that nation against whom I've pronounced this evil turn, I will repent from the evil. So in Jeremiah 24, it says he's going to take them into the land and not pluck them up. Jeremiah lets you know that if the Most High tells you this, but if you turn and do wicked, you won't get that great promise. So this is a conditional prophecy, and Jeremiah 18 lets us know that. So according to the Bible, after Babylon, the children of Israel went there and they sinned. This is why they got plucked back up, because it's conditional according to Jeremiah's own words.
Yeah, but verse 24 is not conditional. So in chapter 24 is not conditional. In Jeremiah 24:7, it says, I will give them an heart to know me, and they shall return with their whole heart. Did all the Israelites return from Babylon and then return back to the Lord with their whole heart? Yes or no?
No, that's why I'm teaching you about conditional prophecy. Jeremiah 18, this quotes Jeremiah 24 verbatim. If that nation against whom I have, let me read 9. If at what instance I speak concerning a nation and concerning a kingdom to build it and to plant it, this is what Jeremiah 24 says. If it do evil in my sight, that it obey not my voice, I will repent of the good whereif I said I will benefit from it. So Jeremiah 18 says, if I speak to you that I will plant you and build you, but you do evil, you're not getting that. You're going to get the belt. Jeremiah 24, he says, I will build you and I will plant you. But we know after Babylon, they didn't turn to the Most High. They didn't stay in the righteousness. So what? He took away his promise, just like Jeremiah said he would. It's conditional according to the words of Jeremiah. It's that easy. You don't understand prophecy.
Okay, perfect. He's saying that Jeremiah is a false prophet because he'd rather Jeremiah be a false prophet than for his math not to math. I beg to differ. Anyway, did you just sit up here and tell everybody that Artaxerxes only commanded Nehemiah to build a wall only? Yes or no?
No. What I said was, and when I went through my PowerPoint, that the wall in the city already began to be built before Nehemiah. All Nehemiah did was come and build the wall. He was focused on the wall. That's what he was focused on. He also finished everything that Ezra and Zerubbabel and Joshua started. But the 444 BCE decree did not start it. That was my issue with it. You said the 444 BCE started it. It could not have started it if it begun already. I went through how the city and the walls were already started to be built. All Nehemiah did is come and build the city, build the wall around the city and repaired a couple things and finish the work. It didn't start from there.
Okay, so you said that according to Nehemiah chapter 2, Nehemiah only built the wall, yes or no?
No, I did not say only build the wall. What I said was he built the wall. That was his main focus. I also said he finished everything that Ezra, Zerubbabel, and Joshua started.
Okay, so is it true or is it false? Now I got to ask it different. Is it true or is it false that Nehemiah built more than the wall? He built the city too, according to the Bible. Is it true or false?
No. I mean, let me answer that. It's false, because Nehemiah finished and completed the wall. He also finished and completed the city. He did not start the building. He did not start the building. I said this over and over. When this debate is over, I want to go back and listen. I said the decree was not only to build the walls, it was to build the city and the walls. You focused on Nehemiah at Xerxes' decree that was mainly focused on the walls, and all he did was finish what was already been built. I mean, what was already started to be built. I went to Ezra to show they started building the city already. It was stopped. I told you it was stopped. Then it started back up. Nehemiah came later to complete. I said that over and over.
Okay, cool. All praises. Can you show me anywhere in the Bible or in history that Antiochus made a 7-year covenant?
Yes, if we go to the book of the book of Maccabees, chapter, I think that's chapter 4. I can get it off the top of my head. The book of Maccabees, let me make sure. Hold on. I want to get the right chapter for y'all. Let me get the right chapter. All right. All right. In the second is the second book of Maccabees. All right. Second book of Maccabees, chapter 4. You see in 171 BCE that Menelaus kills Onias, and then he makes an agreement right here. It says, let me read this right here. It says, let me read it. 3. All right.
Damn.
All right, but he being brought to the presence of the king, when he had magnified him from the glorious appearance of his power, got the priesthood to himself, offering more than Jason by 300 talents of silver. So Menelaus goes to Antiochus Epiphanes. They come into an agreement, a covenant. That's the same thing. That he would get the priesthood from Jason. He gets the priesthood from Jason starting in 171 BCE. This is the agreement. He gives him money. He pays him. In second book of Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 24, Menelaus, Antiochus Epiphanes go into the agreement. He gives some money, and this is when they become Antiochans.
Okay, does the Bible say that that's a 7-year covenant? Yes or no?
Verbatim, no. It doesn't say word for word a 7-year covenant. But when you do the history, when you do the study, you know this happened in 171 BCE. Their agreement started in 171 BCE. Guess what? Your New Testament doesn't say anything about the Romans having a 7-year covenant. Don't cut me off. Your New Testament, all the Bible, does not say anything about the Romans having a 7-year covenant. Nowhere in history does it say the Romans and the Jews went into a 7-year covenant. You're trying to make the 7-year war a 7-year covenant. It doesn't say a covenant. But I'm showing you in the book of Maccabees that Menelaus and Menelaus and Antiochus Epiphanes, they go into an agreement starting in 171, and their agreement ends 7 years later. That is a 7-year covenant. No, it's not verbatim, but that is exactly a 7-year covenant.
Okay, a bribery to kill the high priest is not a covenant. That was a bribery. Come on now, that's ridiculous. Now, let's keep going. He couldn't prove that 7-year covenant. He can't prove that. He's out of here. Now, I got to ask you a question. Who destroyed Israel more, Antiochus or Titus?
Who destroyed Israel more, Antiochus or Titus? I would say the Roman Jewish war that destroyed the temple in 70 AD was a greater destruction than what Antiochus did. But Daniel 9 doesn't say it had to be greater or less than the other. It does not say that at all. It just says the temple and the city had to be destroyed. That's it. And the temple and the city was destroyed in the time of the Greeks. Just because you see one is greater than the other doesn't mean anything. The Greek time period fulfills what Daniel says verbatim.
Okay, all praises to water. So the covenant, it says he will make a covenant with many for 1 week, one singular covenant with many. Where's the rest of the people that Antiochus made the covenant with?
Right here in second book of Maccabees, chapter 4. I'm going to show you where
and I want to clarify my question. The same covenant, it says one covenant. So I want to see that same covenant made with many. Go ahead.
5
Got you.
left.
All right, I want to grab this verse in the book of Maccabees where they would be called Antiochans. All right, right here, second book of Maccabees, chapter 4. It says, "Behold, this he promised to assign 150 more, if he might have license to set him up a place for exercise and for the training up of youth in the fashion of the heathen, and to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochians." So the people that wanted to join and follow the Greek customs, leave their covenant, join this covenant with the Greeks, they would be called Antiochans. This is the covenant that the priesthood started with Menelaus to turn the people from their law. That's the covenant right there that was with many people.
Okay, so you're telling me that the covenant to hijack the priesthood and the covenant for Israelites to become Judaized is one covenant?
Yes, absolutely. When you go to the book of Maccabees, who was in control of turning the people away from the covenant was the leaders of the people. They went to the leaders to turn the people. So the priesthood were the leaders. The priesthood taught the people. So they went to the priests to do this. And the priests and the leaders would build, like I said, gymnasiums. They would do this so that the Israelites would follow. That's directly the covenant. That's the same covenant.
Okay, cool. So do you agree with the Bible that in 1 Maccabees 1, we voluntarily, ooh, that boy's sweating. I know it's hot, nigga. Hey, do you agree with the Bible that, you see me, I'm cooler than the fan over here. In 1 Maccabees 11, would you say that we voluntarily became Hellenized? Yes or no?
It was a mix of both. It was a mix of Antiochus Epiphanes coming, destroying them, and getting Jews to go against their way. And if some didn't, they would kill them. But you also had some Israelites and some Jews that voluntarily went, that didn't fight, that was with it, that was okay with the what they call it, the Greekization of, the Hellenization of Judea. Some was okay with it, and some wasn't. It was both of them.
Okay, why does your 7 weeks start before your 62 weeks? If Daniel chapter 9 says the 7 weeks starts off the 70 weeks.
The Daniel chapter 9 does not say the 7 weeks starts off the 70 weeks. Let's go there real fast. Yeah. And this is the mistake a lot of people read. Let me pull up the Bible verse. If I got my phone right here. Let me pull up the Bible. Daniel chapter 9, verse 26. It says, "And know therefore understand that the going forth of the I'm in the KJV, of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem until Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks. And 62 weeks the city and the street shall be built in the wall in troublous times." It does not say it has to come after. Does not say that. Daniel 9 gives 3 distinct time periods. It gives us 49-year time period. It gives a 434 time period, and then it gives a 7-year time period. It does not say one has to come after the other. It does not say it's continuous. It does not say that nowhere in the book of Daniel. All it says, you have a 7-week time period, a 62-week time period, and a 1-week time period. It does not say it has to come after.
Your JPS Tanakh says that prince, his end would be with the flood. How did Antiochus, you believe that's Antiochus, which you're about to die here. How did Antiochus die?
All right, according to the book of Maccabees, it says, 1 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 11, this is Antiochus Epiphanes' words. It says, "I thought with myself, into what tribulation I am come, how great of a flood of misery it is, wherein now I am, for I was bountiful and beloved." Verse 16, "So King Antiochus died therein 140 in the 9th year." So according to the book of Maccabees, it describes how Antiochus died according to his sickness, how he was overflowed with a flood of misery. So Daniel 9 said he would die in a flood. Maccabees lets you know, describes his death as a flood of misery. That's what the Bible says.
Okay, and second Maccabees.
One second. I'll stop the time. You got 29 seconds left, Priest Hakah. So you can elect to, of course, just simply utilize the last 30 seconds to respond. But if you ask another question, then I got to give them the full time to answer the question.
Okay, cool.
Y'all was good. Y'all was up.
Okay, cool. All praises. So according to, you saved his life, Christian Corey. You saved his life. Because Antiochus died of a sickness, not a heartache, nigga. Now, so my last question is why is if Daniel is in the middle of the 70 weeks, because you believe the 70 weeks are already going at the time Daniel was writing Daniel 9, why the hell is he prophesying about to happen if he's already in the middle of it happening?
Well, you don't know that it's actually 2 70-year prophecies, right? One prophecy in Jeremiah says Babylon would rule for 70 years. And the other says the children of Israel would be in Babylon for 70 years. Babylon came to power before Israel went into Babylonian captivity. So it's 2 70-year time periods. In Daniel 9, Daniel lets you know that this is going on after Babylon has fallen. So when this angel gives him the understanding, this angel is giving Daniel understanding something that he's missing. He's missing that the 70 years isn't over yet. He's still in the time of the 70 years. Daniel didn't know he was in the time of the 70 years. He knew that Babylon's 70 years was over. He didn't know that his 70 years wasn't over yet. So he came to give him the understanding that, Daniel, you're still in your 70 years. And this is the true understanding of the time period. So him being in the midst of the 70 weeks is not a problem for me. I know that. Daniel knows that in his book.
Time.
All right.
Hold on.
GenesisCaskets.com.
What are you talking about here?
Look. Before I respond and talk about this formal debate, I always ask the question before we conclude. Do you brothers would like to go into the Royal Rumble phase, one-on-one, just bare knuckle, no rules, no moderation? You're allowed to get in there, you know what I'm saying, when you want to get in there, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Would you like to have that conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I have a few more questions. I don't want to go super long, but I have a few more I kind of wanted to get off. So if he's with it, we can.
Yeah, we're like 5 minutes, something like that. Yeah, we can do that.
All right, 5 minutes. Both brothers good with 5 minutes?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, so I'm gonna set it to 5 minutes. But
you can't fuck with me, man. Now I can talk dirty now.
No, you can't. You can't do that, man. For YouTube algorithms, you got to do YouTube for the YouTube algorithm purposes.
My bad. I ain't gonna go crazy.
Okay. Okay. So
hold on.
Go ahead.
Before you get into it, we still do the conclusion first. I just want to make sure that y'all want to do that extra section.
Okay, got you.
Do the conclusion first.
Okay.
Formal debate. We want to add that section to the formal debate. So, of course, in your conclusion is 2 minutes apiece. It's going to start with Gdal, then it's going to roll over to Priest Hakah. In the 2 minutes, you are allowed to say Bible verses or citations from history on things that you felt like you demonstrated and the other person did not. But make sure you say your name as well as your school of thought so people know how to follow you. I got the 2 minute time set. Gdal, quick mic check.
I'm here.
All right, good deal. And the time will start when you start, sir.
All right, so as y'all see during this debate, I showed easy and precisely the time period from the start of the 7 weeks, which is the 588 BCE to 539 BCE, exactly a 49 time period from the prophetic word of Jeremiah to the anointed one on the scene. That's not a coincidence that this was prophesied that the children of Israel will be rebuilt in their land, and exactly 49 weeks after that, Cyrus is on the scene. That's not a coincidence. I also showed from the start of Babylonian exile to the anointed one being cut off is exactly 62 weeks, 434 years. That's not a coincidence. It's easy work. That's what the Bible says. I also showed a 7-year covenant when the priesthood got into an agreement with Antiochus Epiphanes to pay him that they would turn the people of Judea into Antiochians starting in 171, and it ended 70 years later. And in the middle of that 7 years, the same persons in Tiger's epiphanies took away the daily sacrifice. Exactly what Daniel showed, prophesied about. I showed you the fulfillment during the time of the Greeks. Hakah, I went through and broke down his understanding clear, put the belt to it. He tries to say his 7-year covenant is the first Roman Jewish war. I showed how that cannot be. Titus Vespasian was not around in 66 CE to confirm it. I showed how he left before 73 CE. He was not under scene for 7 years. He fell and died in the cross-examination, how he couldn't explain that. I showed clearly that his understanding is horrible. Like, it's clear, man. Like, this is easy. I got my lights on. I'm hot. I'm sweating because I'm under the lights right now. It's not because this is hard work. It's easy work. I just got my lights on me, man, and it's hot in here. This is easy work. It was easier than I thought. I thought his question round was going to be a little harder, really, because I know he a heavyweight. But his question round was soft. It was weak. It was really cold. But I mean, this is easy. I destroyed him.
Time. 2 minutes up. 2 minutes up. The dog, Hakah dog. Mr. Versus is talking crazy. Hold on, let me stop that time. Shout out to Gdal, Hakah. If y'all can, go to Prolific Wellness Touch. You can just simply throw that in your Google and pull it up. That is the brother's business. He focuses on pain management and neuromuscular therapy, helping out the community in terms of health. So that's an excellent thing that we need in the quote-unquote Black community. All right. So if y'all can, support the brother at Prolific Wellness Touch. And that is Gdal, Hakah, one of the challenger of the day. Rolling over to my good brother Priest Hakah of the Genesis platform, the Israelite Camp. We're gonna start with his 2 minutes, and of course, Priest, with your 2 minutes, reintroduce yourself, let the people know your school of thought, and you can use Bible verses or any type of secular sources in the 2 minutes. But let us know what you taught today and what your opponent did not. The time will start when you start.
First and foremost, let's give all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh. We do so by Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai for every victory, because the truth is the truth and the truth cannot be defeated. And we are commanded to defend the truth. This was a good discussion, a good conversation. I'm not going to add this to my record, as this is a tomato can, but I got paid to crush this tomato can. So at the end of the day, you know, GenesisCaskets.com, that website was pending, but now we're going to GoDaddy and we are making that website official. GenesisCaskets.com. Killing OT onlys. I might as well get paid for the funerals. But yeah, you know, the 70 weeks is definitely, you know, easily provable with the Bible. I asked you guys in the intro, who sounds more convoluted? Who sounds more organized and logical? The 70 weeks is 490 years. There's a separation with the last week. That's the Israelite Roman wars. In the middle of that war, we see the temple being destroyed. We see Daniel chapter 9 in the Hebrew talking about at the end of this 70 weeks, it would be utter annihilation and destruction. He admitted that. Titus Vespasian and the Romans did that. So, you know, the math is mathing. We did our math. It came all the way to 32 AD, not 39 AD, 32 AD. And we proved these prophetic years with the Bible. He needs some paper towels under his arms. He needs some paper towels under his hat. He needs paper towels. This boy is dripping. We need some Genesis deodorant. The seat got hot. He was able to, he died here, but you know what? The brother stepped up to the plate. I know a lot of Old Testament only brothers who won't have these discussions. And so, you know, I still appreciate the brother for getting in the lion's den and being that sacrificial lamb. All praises.
All praise to the Most High. And if y'all can, go to Genesis144.com to support Priest Hakah and the Genesis brothers for the children's Bibles. If you can, show that one more time, Priest Hakah. If you can show the children's Bibles for the people who just came in. All right. Support both of these brothers and their businesses, man. They really helping out the community. We're going to go over into that 5-minute section now. I seen somebody earlier say something about Bud Crawford and Spence. That's what they think this is. My opinion is that I feel like this was more like a Crawford Canelo future thing, but I would say more so Lamont Roach and Tank Davis, man. This was about, shout out to both of you brothers for actually coming fully prepared. And I wanted to say 3 things. This is a people's platform when it comes to the verses. We on Brother Garfield podcast, but this is the verses platform. So this is a people's platform. So I wanted to call out 3 issues, maybe 3, maybe 4 issues that I made, and I want y'all to be able to call the issues out as well, so we can get better on the moderation. And then both of the brothers who's debating and other debaters can get better. I know I had some technical issues at the very beginning. I got to make sure that I clear that up for the next time, because we got a debate coming up in 7 days. We're going to talk about that as well. But got to clear that issue up. It was one time where I remember Priest Hakah kind of interjected when Gdal was speaking. I didn't say anything at that time because I was trying to understand the interjection, but I allowed it. So minutes later, I allowed Gdal to interject as well, just to even it out. When he interjected, I didn't say anything. So you guys may see that on a timestamp as well. That's one thing that I caught myself doing. Another one was my screen keeps refreshing. So at the end of Deacon's question, one time, it was towards the latter end of his questionnaire. At the end of his question, it refreshed, and I didn't hear him say yes or no. But when I came back, it sounded like he was ending the word in no, but I didn't hear it, so I didn't interrupt the brother, so I was just quiet. And Gdal started to answer the question, but I seen in the chat it could have been a yes or no question. So prayerfully, you guys see that, and y'all can reach out to me to let me know in terms of perfecting this, because we want to make sure the system is perfect and the platform is perfect, so these brothers will be able to get the edification out. We got the 5 minutes on the pulled up right now, and I want to ask one question.
Hold on, before you go.
Who is this, man?
Garfield, before you go, Corey, are you guys doing a clubhouse after this?
Yeah, we're gonna do it on the God First Game platform. We're gonna throw a room up, and whoever want to come in there, fight, get body slammed, all of that is going down on the God First Game platform. So be available for that. Everybody come to that. God First Game on Clubhouse. If you ain't got Clubhouse downloaded, you way behind. Download Clubhouse, put in your search God First Game. We'll have a room open so the dog can get slammed. If Priest pull up, he can get dumped on his head. Everybody fighting, you know what I mean? So pull up God First Game Clubhouse, and then you guys will be able to share who y'all thought won. Y'all can come on stage, flood the stage, and then we're going to talk about it in detail. I won't give my opinion because I can't. Forever, we don't do that as moderators on the Versus platform. So good question, Brother Garfield. That was the one good interjection you had, Brother Garfield. Shout out to you, brother.
Man, right? If Grand Rising Room started room, I'm going to be in there, man. So we're going to see.
Yeah. All right. We ain't got a plug. We ain't doing no extra.
Grand Rising in the building, man.
We're going to have to clip that when we actually put it up, brother. That's branding issues, brother. That's branding issues. All right. Shout out to Grand Rising, man. Shout out to Grand Rising. All right, we got 5 minutes on the clock.
Damn, let's wait for him to come back.
Damn, Corey, man. Where you at, bro? He said give him a minute because he's gonna.
Also, Salakia, I wanted to appreciate Brother Garfield. You know what I mean, letting me come. I think I came on here, but this is the first formal on Garfield's channel. So he always comes over and supports all my channels, which I got like 10 of them. So
right now I can't even keep count, man. Damn. All I know I press the subscribe button. I be pressing the subscribe button every time. I'm like, damn, my boy. Hey, let me say this, by the way, too, Corey, while you're coming back. Let me say this, man. I want to say I appreciate Brother Priest Hakah and Gdal for what it was a good spirited debate. Both men did their thing. I mean, I know who I feel won, and it's good to actually watch a debate because I normally don't watch a debate. I'm moderating and running around, but this was a very good debate. Very good debate. Christian Corey versus platform. How y'all set up the platform, how to ask questions and so forth. Beautiful setup, beautiful arrangement. I love it, bro. I'm gonna rewatch this tonight. This was good. This was some good stuff.
And Garfield, I want to say this too. Definitely shout out to Brother Garfield because this debate almost didn't happen. Hakah, you know how dudes be when they scared, they try to price themselves out. If you watch boxing, you know that the boxers try to price themselves out so they don't gotta fight. Garfield called that man bluff, said, you know what, since you running, take this little bread and come get your butt beat. So he got paid to get his butt beat today. So shout out to Garfield for making that happen, man.
I've never seen somebody pay to get beat up. That's crazy. But hey, it is what it is, bro. That's
why I'm
You paid for your man. It came from his pockets to you, and then you paid me, and then he got beat up. But yeah, let's get it in, man. You know,
just 5 minutes. That's all y'all want. Just 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes. If it goes a little longer, it goes a little longer. But so you know,
hold on, Hakah. 5 minutes each, or just 5 minutes? Period.
No, it's 5 minutes. They gotta fight.
Right,
they gotta fight.
I'm gonna shut up. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm finna start it. Then if y'all want to do 5 minutes, we're gonna press start. And then when we press start, whatever happened.
Yeah, let's press play. I want to go back into your Bible timeline source. What year do you say that the Exodus happened?
The Exodus. I use the Bible Hub timeline. They put it in, I think 1440. Hold on, let me double check. And from 1446, right? I put it in 1446. But depending on different timelines, different people, they have different understandings when the Exodus started. You know, so hey, it is what it is. But I go by the Bible Hub timeline. I trust in their sources they use. So that's what I use. They say 1444 BCE. Okay. My question for you is,
let me just rebut that real quick. Archaeological evidence and scholarly consensus have the Exodus at 1260 to 1250 BC. And so I'm just kind of poking in at your flawed sources that you have. This is why I asked you, do you have any source outside of Bible Hub that would give you any type of academic credentials? And you basically said you believe everything on Bible Hub, so that means you believe in the existence of Jesus Christ, Lord and Christ.
No, I don't believe in it. Well, I do believe Jesus, the man, existed for sure. He existed. He was a real person. Do I believe the narrative of the New Testament? Absolutely not. But the Bible Hub timeline takes the Bible, whether it's New Testament, Old Testament, and they give dates on when this stuff may have happened. The scholars, if you get into it, they don't believe most of this stuff in the Bible happened. Like, if we being real. So they take what they use and put dates on it. So according to 1 Kings 6, it tells you that the Exodus happened in the 408th year after the Israel. I mean, it tells you that the temple was built in the 408th year after the Exodus. So if you take when in 1 Kings, when that happened, and you add that, that's why they give you the 1446 based on the Bible itself, based on the time the Bible gives you. That's how you get it. Hold on, let me finish. Other people make different arguments. I have a question for you. I just answered 2 of your questions. I have a question for you now.
Go ahead.
How in the world do you do this with the last 7 years when Titus Vespasian, his father, was not around in 66 CE? They had nothing to do with it.
Were they around in 67? Yes or no?
The late 67. That's when they called Vespasian to come put down the revolt.
Oh, for the record, they were even if it wasn't 66, they were in 67, right?
Yeah, but yours don't start in 67. You say yours is 66.
Yeah, we haven't, but we cannot.
Roman Jewish War is in 66 CE. If Titus Vespasian and his father was not there to confirm the covenant in 66 CE, that cannot be the start. You lose.
The focal point of the 1 week is the crushing of the temple, which happens in 70 AD. And so this is the problem when you deal with conventional chronology. Things that happened 2,000 years ago, 2,500 years ago, you can't necessarily say that year. It has to be a circa. So for you to say that just shows that you don't even understand the timeline in history. So my question now is, how in the hell does your week, your last week, your 7 years work when you can't even find Antiochus Epiphanes given a 7-year covenant? It says he will give the covenant. You said, well, it was he, and then it was Menelaus, and then the priesthood, and then everybody else. No, it says he, one person, singular. He shall confirm the covenant. That is one effing person. You can't find that in history or the Bible.
Yes, I do. That's why I went to the book of Maccabees, Antiochus Epiphanes. He goes to the priesthood. They start a covenant to turn the people into Antiochans. That's the covenant, to turn them. That's the agreement. That's the contract. It doesn't have to say 7-year covenant verbatim.
Okay, were we still Hellenized? Were we still Hellenized after that 7-year period? Yes or no?
No, because after the 7-year period, the Maccabees came.
30 seconds left.
They went through the land. They killed everybody that was against the Torah. They killed everybody that was pro-Hellenized. They rededicated the temple. They did this during the time.
This guy just said that no Israelites were Hellenized after the Maccabees came. That is ridiculous. It doesn't say 7 years anywhere in history or the Bible that Antiochus made that agreement.
Here. Doesn't say anywhere in history that Titus Vespasian made a 7-year covenant with the Israelites. Yes or no?
Let me answer this. Let me answer that. Let me answer that last thing for him. He takes the covenant. You're taking the covenant to be like an actual agreement. I'm interpreting. Listen, brother. I'm interpreting it as Titus Vespasian destroying the Israelites and confirming the old covenant curses, not a written agreement. That's the difference. But all praise to the Most High.
That did not happen for 7 years. You're done. You're cooked. He's making it up. That did not happen for 7 years. Get this man out of here. Get his hat the fuck out of here. Get his shirt the fuck out. Get on.
Hey, he's overcompensating. He's overcompensating for his rudimentary performance. He's overcompensating for his rudimentary performance. I'm not like that, y'all. I'm gonna re-upload this, so I need this to be class. Show some class next time, man. I thought you was a world-class fighter. Show some class next time. But I appreciate it, y'all. However you guys want to close it out, let's close it out.
I got that boy humble right now.
Shout out to the Versus platform, man, and Brother Garfield podcast coming together to make this form of debate happen. We have Priest Hakah versus the good brother Gdal. When it comes to Daniel 9, the 70-week prophecy, did it take place in the time period of the Romans or the time periods of the Greek? If you guys come back, play this later, send this off, share it, let other people see it and view it. This was a high-level juggernaut debate. So shout out to both brothers. On Priest Hakah's end, we're going to make sure we promote his business one more time. Genesis144.com. You can get the children's Bibles from Genesis144.com. Now's the time to do it. I know y'all didn't want to leave to do it, because we was watching that form of debate. Now is the time to do it. Go ahead and hit the children's Bibles before you come over to the God First Game platform on Clubhouse and check out the official post debate party. Of course, you might have 1 or 2 rooms on off-brand platforms opening up, but the God First Game is the official post-debate space where everybody's coming there to talk about it and fight. So make sure y'all pull up to the God First Game, especially if you're tough enough. Shout out to the good brother Gdal on his business as well, Prolific Wellness Touch. If you can, just throw that in your Google, Prolific Wellness Touch, where he specializes in pain management as well as neuromuscular therapy. Appreciate it, Brother Garfield, for making it happen. Not only giving us a platform to do it, but sponsoring the brothers to make it happen. So with that being said, shout out to y'all brothers. We finna close this thing out.
Debate next week. Next week.
Yeah, well, right now, if y'all
announce that. You got the flyer?
Right,
I do got a flyer. I do got a flyer. Real quick. Yeah. Let me pull it up real quick.
If y'all
not this flyer, not this one, not this one.
Put in the chat.
There we go. Hey, add that to the there we go. It's going.
Oh, this is gonna be huge.
Some more niggas get knocked out next week. No, all praises.
Ask them if I could simulcast this, man. This is huge. This is gonna be one of the biggest debates in the history of Israel. This debate right here. This is my prediction.
Shout out. Let me plug this right quick.
That's gonna be 2 in a row. Better not lose that.
Priest, they spelled your name wrong on the flyer.
I spelled my own name wrong.
Priest, it spelled Priest.
I know. That was me, bro. They get it.
Let me plug it. So we got the Believers of the Way. My good brother Ratazan, as well as Yatazah, formally debating against Priest Hakah and Brother Hassad. That's going to be a 2-on-2 debate on the Versus platform. It's going to be connected to the YouTube platforms that already exist with the Believers of the Way, as well as Priest Hakah's platform. Which one is going to be on? Is it Deconstruction or what is going to be on?
It's going to be on Priest Genesis mode, which is formerly known as Deacon Destruction mode.
All right, good deal. So it's going to be on Priest Genesis Mode. Make sure y'all check that out. Versus platform. I'll be formally moderating it because, I mean, it's not a real formal debate if I'm not moderating. Brothers got to do it over. Also, if it's not on Versus, it don't count. So we would have had to do it over anyway. So shout out to the brothers. Is the Sabbath based off the moon? So there's an argument specifically in the Israelite community, brothers who almost teach the same doctrine, debating over if the Shabbat is dictated or reckoned off the start of the new moon or not. Is it a 7-day cyclical Sabbath outside of that, meaning the Friday, Saturday system in terms of when it lands? This is one that I definitely want to take notes and learn from. So shout out to both parties coming together. And that is June 11th, right? I mean, Salakia.
July 11th.
Yeah, July 11th. July 11th. Yeah. Appreciate them, brothers. Those are my brothers, Salakia. Go ahead.
Yes, and it's going to be a little bit longer. So we stretching the time frames because it's going to be more information presented on both sides. So the time frames will be stretched out a little bit more for the Versus platform. But the answering section of 2 minutes will be brought down to 1 minute so you can give a fine answer and then get the hell up out the way. So 2 master debates back to back. Brother Garfield podcast. No, you cannot simul stream unless you send us some more money. All right. So shout out to Brother Garfield, man. That's my brother.
I will copy.
I wouldn't put this up. Don't.
I will copyright you.
Yeah, we got to get him out of here. But good job, both brothers, man. We're gonna close this out. If y'all can, the last comments I want hit in the chat is who won. Throw in who won, and then come to the
number. Are you gonna give numbers?
If you bold enough, come to the God First Game stage and communicate who you think won. Come to the God First Game stage and communicate.
All praises. I might tap in there too, y'all. All praise to the Most High. Tawada, everybody. Everybody have a good rest of the night. Stay safe and shalom.
Appreciate you, priest. I'll call you later.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Who y'all thought won? Gdal. I seen Gdal all over through this thing here. Gdal, Deacon. I see one Deacon. I like this picture right here, man. This picture is fitting for the debate right here.
Hey, quick question, brother Garfield. If I press end, is that going to end the whole thing? Or?
Yeah, it's going to end the whole stream. You could end it. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. Much love, much respect. We're going to head to I'm gonna be in Grand Rising Room. Y'all could go over to Corey Versus Gang.